Inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one to necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through one thing. He's just gonna solidify everything with it does.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters Tour.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Ambulance immediately back and fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth. Oh, welcome back, everybody, to CGL. One more game to wrap up this week 3 action. The last game before Perks get introduced to CGL. And man, do we have a great series here. A matchup between 2 collegiate teams are upon us right now as the Bowling Green State University Falcons will take on the Jade Eagles of University of North Texas here. My name is Dex. That is Thor. Thor, we have a great game on our hands here tonight.
Exactly. We have a great game with both teams. We're having something they want to prove with themselves, right? One on the other end suffering from a very, not so great defeat, right? Swept in their previous match are here to make a statement, but also is another team just wanting to get that first win on the board for themselves. So for these two teams, they have a lot to prove, and I think this is a great time to do it, especially when perks haven't been introduced yet, but will soon be introduced, which will only just cause more changes and differences in the gameplay.
Yeah, like I said, last game here on stream before perks get introduced next week here. So these two teams really didn't have to plan out for much here, but you have to wonder with how long this game was or how long it took for this game to happen here on Sunday. These teams have probably gotten used to perks a little bit. Now they're having to drop them. That's going to be a really fun thing to watch throughout the series here tonight. But like you said, both these teams coming off losses. Bowling Green looking for their first win, looking for their first map win as well of the year. But, I mean, why don't we introduce you to Bowling Green here at the moment? And that was a little video that they prepared for us here. Again, hey, if your team wants to have a video like that shown on stream, just, send it up to someone here at CGL, and we'll make sure if your team is on stream to play it here. It's really cool they're able to do that. We did that a couple times last year, but you're seeing the starting lineup here for Bowling Green State. Fresh and Mr. Joker as your DPS line. Fatal Turtle on your tank, and Jimbo and Cower Wolf on the support here. Thor, I mean, this is a solid lineup here. Just haven't been able to put it together yet so far.
Exactly, and I think this is that one time for them to make that statement and finally put things together, get that first map win on the board, and make that difference. And if there's one thing that they can definitely do in this time around, it's really show what they have to offer before things get shaken up starting next week.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the biggest thing that we'll be talking about next week here, that big shift with perks coming in. But on the other side, the Jade Eagles, they won their first series of the year against Oops All Vibes 3-0. Then they got swept last week. Looking to bounce back this week here. Alex and Embers on that DPS line. ABNMR as your tank. Conk and Whacking this support line here. This team's shown that they've been able to win in the past. Looking to right the ship here, though, tonight.
Exactly. And if there's one thing that they're at least have in their bank right now is the fact that they did get that win pretty much like a few weeks ago. So this is that time wherein they could turn things around, and if what their selected heroes in this lineup has to show for them is they could make a solid difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Here they said that they like to play a little bit of a brawl. Their favorite meta at the moment was that Torb Sim meta. So very recently with that new meta coming in here, but Thor, I mean, you see our map lineup here: Ilios, Kings Road, Runasapi, New Junk City, Shambali Monastery, and then if we need a 6th map, I mean, it's going to be a control map. We won't know which one, but heading into Ilios here and bans coming up, what do you necessarily think what we're going to be seeing from the teams?
I mean, we're at least seeing in terms of, I guess, bans for this Ilios would be a few characters that we're pretty sure have been some sort of meta with the current introduction of Hazard. So for these two teams, it seems that BGSU ended up banning that Hazard, and in response, Jade Eagles did ban the Genji.
Yeah, that are the bans coming out here right now. So yeah, like you said, BGSU banning out the Hazard, and on the other side, it will be the Genji here. Normally you see the Juno be banned out a lot of the times here, but Genji is an interesting one in my opinion. It's a fun one if you ask me, but it really does force that other DPS to be playing, really just focusing on a tracer for the most part.
Right, and I think what I find very interesting in these ban selections is normally when you do ban that Hazard, there's normally this combo that comes with playing a Hazard. There's usually a Genji type of Lucio setup. So banning both at the same time feels like a very interesting choice, I guess, for characters to ban, as you would at least want to reserve maybe one of them for, a ban maybe somewhere in a different map where, hey, the other side had already used their ban on Hazard and they want to play that Hazard, make it maybe harder by finally banning that Genji that would go in with him.
Yeah, absolutely here. But I mean, now when we're not going to see the hazard, what do you necessarily expect to see on that tank line? I mean, 3 different kind of points here heading into Elios. You can see a lot of different stuff. The Rhine, the brawl kind of style that, Jade Eagles said they like to play is definitely an option here for them. But Dive, we saw Dive last night on Elios work to perfection for both teams, really, and really force the other teams to be on their toes.
I think because of how Ilios is as a map, I wouldn't be surprised that if there's a change in, I guess, composition for each specific round, right? Maybe like a map such as that notorious well with a hole in the middle, you wouldn't want a tank that could be easily, tossed into that hole, into that space, something that allows a bit more maneuverability. But I think it's something like maybe in Lighthouse, you'd want something that could stack on that point, or maybe that dive, as we have said. But we are now loading in to our first map, and it seems like we are going to be tossed into ruins with that very long sightline. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a hit scan or maybe a flyer comes into play from one of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That was gonna be exactly what I said. The long sightlines provide themselves play, Widowmaker play, Ashe play, even Hanzo and Cassidy if you want to get a little bit closer here. But BGSU, you see them coming out here, hovering over the Widow, but Dive coming out from each side here, kind of what we expected coming out the gate.
Exactly, and that really just comes from the fact that you can't play something that's a bit brawlier like that hazard. I think the monkey selection just really allows for that maybe coordinate dive to the background, especially if the Jade Eagles maybe have scouted how BGSU wants to play. But BGSU Falcons running out here with this Juno Mercy, which is a pretty interesting pick one way or another, as normally I don't see a lot of Mercy gameplay.
You normally don't see it anymore, but we have started to see a little bit more recently here. If you're able to get those reses off, it does help out a lot, but just the only having the beam onto one person will really affect how BGSU plays here. Already with Fatal getting very low, you have to see him dive back to get them healed up here. But Jade Eagles, I mean, they're not necessarily taking the space either. It seems like each team kind of just trying to find that early opening pick before they go in, and there it is. Ember's finding Mr. Joker out. That should really get this fight going here, but Kira going to be able to get Mr. Joker back into this fight. Jade Eagles are going to be able to cap the point, while Bowling Green looking like they're kind of on the back foot here, trying to run away. Kira falls. There's Ember, finds their second pick already of the map, looking for their third. They should be able to get it. They're on the fresh, and yes, Ember starting off the series hot.
I like how Jade Eagles are trying to play this, especially with ABN Mark, because you know that they have a Reaper on that side of BGSU, so you do not want to be engaging into that right away, especially with how those Hellfire shotguns can do all that damage onto a monkey's armor right away. So just finding that opening, making that pick, letting your DPS do the work is what matters.
Yeah, and you see the dive up there onto that high ground, forcing BGSU down off it already. Jade Eagles trying to find their first pick here, but they're not going to be able to. It's going to be fresh instead, and this is exactly what Bowling Green needed here to get a fight going. Needed to find the first pick, but they need to find a follow-up here. You see them trying to just get as much damage as they can out onto the other side there from those torpedoes from Jimbo, but they're doing a good job just forcing the Jade Eagles back. AB and MR not going to be able to escape here for the moment, but they're going to be able to find Kira Wolf out on the other side, and that immediately throws BGSU back in this fight. The beat was invested by Kong, but they haven't been able to really clean up this fight yet. Fatal will fight ABMR, and BGSU will find one more pick to go, and they have capped the point.
And for BGSU, that is actually a very economical fight, because you forced out so many ults from the side of Jade Eagles, and you're walking into this next fight with 4 in the bank. Jade Eagles having to use that beat kind of in a way to maybe stall the point a bit more and maybe create like a turning point, but it wasn't enough with ABNMR falling, so they have to now re-engage.
And Fatal again, just diving into that backline already. Bob coming out here from Alex early, going to be able to find Fresh. Valkyrie and Primal Rage, a response here from the Falcons, just trying to get anything to go their way here. But you're seeing all the ultimates being invested by Jade as well, their own Kitsune and their own Primal Rage as well. So it's a Primal Rage for Primal Rage here at the moment, but no one outside of that first pick has really fallen just yet. Fatal Turtle gets very low, but they're going to be able to find Embers. Conk will be able to trade on Mr. Joker though. But we see ABMR trying to do what they can and just forcing Fatal Turtle off the point. Now the Orbital Ray invested here by the Falcons, just trying to clean up this fight as fast as they can. Ultimate heavy fight from both sides, but Fresh popping off with with the overclock, finding 2 already, looking for a third. It looks like Konk's gonna be able to escape, but Bowling Green, they're looking good right now.
Bowling Green looking so well, because if there's one thing they did so perfectly is really wait out all the ultimates that Jade Eagles had used. They had popped 3 all at one go, and they just needed that primal to keep things alive, using everything else to just keep things and turn things around in their favor, and that's a huge pick from them already.
That's a huge pick, and Jade Eagles, you see him kind of hanging around. I would be backing up at this point here, but you see Fatal Turtle very low on health. Mr. Joker low on health as well. If you could find a pick here, it would be huge. Fatal has to get out, and they're going to be able to. The swap coming out for AB NMR as they go over to a Doomfist here, but the overclock from Embers on that high ground. They started all pop, but have kind of got quiet ever since. Death Blossom coming out from Joker, not going to be able to find anyone. Instead, they get shut down by Embers. Kira able to find their second res of this map already, but Jimbo will trade it out there as Kira does fall, but seems like Jade Eagle should be able to take this point back here. They just have to clean up Fatal Turtle.
No, it's Fatal Turtle and Jimbo, who is still in the air, pumping all those heals, and Kong just cleans them out, and that's exactly what you need. And the final set of kills just allows the point to turn over to the side of Jade Eagles, hoping to get one more stagger, and I think that's a really good play by them. I think maybe Kong, having used that beat pretty earlier, turned things around for them, allowed them to re-engage. The huge picks from Embers also to just open all that up, really great. And they still have that rush to at least build towards these ultimates again. So you want to at least be aggressive if you're on the side of Jade Eagles to create that opening and find that Mercy.
I mean, you have the rush, but look what BGSU is going to have here. They have 3 of their own ultimates, and Fresh already starts off finding Alex out here early on. Fatal does have that Primal Rage here. They're going to probably have to invest here pretty early. Consumers coming out, not going to be enough to save Conk, and now the Falcons just kind of cleaning up this fight really before it even started. The ultimate invested there by Wacky, not going to be able to find anything. ABMR going to pop their own Meteor Strike here, goes back on point, but at the moment you just see him kind of running away. They need to quickly regroup, but Bowling Green trying to do what they can to keep him off. Overclock now coming out here from Fresh, as you see Bowling Green again just starting to clean up this fight. Jade Eagles at this point just trying to stall out this point as long as it can, try to find a pick, but the Orbital Ray from Jimbo should just seal the deal here on this point.
Yeah, that should be a last set of cleanups, especially with that pocket of Kira Wolf onto Fresh has been doing wonders, and that just creates that opening. But you could see part of the challenge that Jade Eagles has to face is the fact that Fresh is playing on that high ground, which is at a specific angle. High grounds and ruins are not really that, great of sightlines, so if you could honestly hide and play it at a certain space, force that Soj to play in an angle where it's easier for maybe ABNMR to just dive in and get some value, I think that may have turned things around. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So I think if I am Jade Eagles and I'm running out with this very interesting type of comp, I think there might be some level of value, especially with if they could get Kira Wolf to maybe untether themselves from Fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the swaps that Jade Eagles are making here. They're bringing out their own Reaper. Embers sticking on that Tracer we saw they were late. And AP NMR going over to that ball here. Wants to play it a little bit more aggressively. And I do like this ball pick from them, but they really can't get stuck like that. And now they're just trying to go into the backline, but all the supports right there should be enough to really keep them alive. However, because of all that distraction that ABMR is doing here, they lose Fatal there. However, they're able to trade out as Fresh, picking up right where they left off. The Deadeye on the side of the Falcons here, already finding 2.
Yep, and Fresh really just doing all that work, and you could see that ABNMR is trying to get Kira Wolf to feel uncomfortable, because once that Mercy is out, there's nothing really tethering Fresh from doing all the damage that he's currently doing, because if there's one thing they were doing was really popping off on that Sojourn, and they know who their key player is, so everyone else from BGSU is really just enabling that and all that survival.
Yeah, Ember's going to be able to find Joker out here early on, but I mean, Fresh is still alive, so I feel like Bowling Green is always going to be in any of these fights. AB NMR kind of struggling right now, just finding those pile drives, getting that backline, trying to do a lot of disruption here. Almost going to be able to get rid of Fresh here, but that Mercy Beam going to be able to keep him alive here for a moment. Fatal though, making a swap over to the Junk Queen. Struggling at the moment, needs to get some health as Jimbo and Kira just trying to keep Fresh alive. Fresh though, they're doing their job and going to be able to find AB MR. Pulse Bomb coming out from Ember's, not going to find anything but the 4 right there, as Bowling Green trying to do what they can here, but you're starting to see the Jade Eagles come back in this one.
Yep, and they're realizing that forcing Fresh to feel just very uncomfortable with this whole dive forces Hero Wolf to really just focus on him, and at that point, the point just becomes open, free from them. But if there's a saving grace for both of them, is that because of how much damage and healing they've been putting out, they now have ultimates to work with. On the side of Jade Eagles, though, they also have their own ultimates. They have 3, one of them being mines, and just on a choke is going to be oppressive, like what is just now happening.
Well, speaking of mines, Fatal Turtle's in a really, really bad spot. You do see the Valkyrie come out there from Kira just to keep him alive, but right now it looks like it's just Bowling Green trying to clean it up. The Death Blossom gonna be able to find one, will lead to 2, make it 3 right there. So 2 ultimates basically to win you that engagement there. If you're the Jade Eagles, you have to feel pretty happy about that, but you cannot lose AB NMR here. They need to fall back, and that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah, no points going back to the spawn of Jade Eagle, Jade BGSU, but if there's one thing BGSU managed to do is they managed to build towards all ultimates. They only had to use the Valkyrie, that's something that's easy to rebuild, and at the end of the day, ultimates-wise, they're on the plus side, and with this Mace Switch, it makes it things harder for AVNMR.
B coming out there from Kong, gonna be able to land onto everyone in Fresh. Going over to the main, they're immediately gonna lose their life. Jimbo invests the orbital raid. Death Blossom coming out from Joker will find 2, but that's a huge couple picks to get them back in this fight. Susan gonna be invested there. Joker finds 3 before Alex takes them out. BGSU, I mean, if they can find a couple more kills here, they might be right back in. That's a huge res there by Kira to get Joker back into this one, but AB and MMR gonna be able to find that Mercy right back, and now you just see everyone from Bowling Green running away, but they're gonna be able to get the point flip.
Yeah, but that's a great point flip that you need, and if I am Jade Eagles, I need to just regroup at least with my team, get things back together, because they are going to be up 1 with no mercy on the side of BGSU, and that's exactly what they're doing, so the point should be in their favor now.
Death Blossom from Alex will find Fresh again. Fresh not had the best time ever since swapping over to this May, but you do start to see Jade Eagles start to cap the pointer. Consider Rush and Mines coming out there. Jade Eagles do retake the point right back, and BGSU loses Joker there. So now, if you're the Jade Eagles, you kind of have a really good defense set up here. Fatal Turtle kind of in that backline by themselves, but they're doing work even though they're all alone, finding Conk out, now focusing out here on whacking, gets that knife hit on them, looking for the axe swing, gonna be able to find them as I believe they teleported back there to Alex, but eventually Embers will find them and send them down the well.
Yeah, but the point is in their favor, so all that BGSU Jade Eagles has to do is stall for everyone else to come back, forcing the cry already out of Fresh. This is looking like BGSU just needs to target focus who they're going on.
And they lose Kira Wolf early here. Fresh, they're going to be able to find Embers. Death Blossom out from Mr. Joker. Finds the one you're looking for there on Kong. But oh no, they're going to be booped into the well. But the teleport going to be able to keep them alive. And they win the fight as well. Oh, they always get booped back into the well. But they got hit a little bit too far away. Huge Death Blossom there, though. Gives BGSU the point back. And look at the ultimates they're coming up on.
Yeah, they have ultimates to work with, and that's what you want for this next fight, especially when Jade Eagles probably wants to do something that's more of a longer staggered fight, because they don't have anything to work with. They're trying to build up towards it, and with the stalls on this point right now from ABNMR, I think they just need to play this a bit slower and wait for ults to pop up.
Rampage hits one, but it's immediately cleansed. Joker though will find Alex as they have no escape. Blizzard coming out from Fresh will find one, and hey, it found the best one he could possibly find there, AB MMR. Bowling Green now, if they win this fight, this is the first map win of the season for them here. And oh, the blink into the well, I believe whacking teleported to them as well. Bowling Green gonna be able to win their first map of the season right there. And man, Thor, did they look good.
They did look good. That Mercy gameplay of Kira Wolf really, showing that they can get immense value from that Juno Mercy composition. A lot of it just really involving being in the air. And I think just not having a character that could control or at least monitor who's in the air has made it a bit difficult from the side of Jade Eagles. So I think for them, maybe this isn't the map for them, but if they are relying on something that allows for, taking point to point, something like less brawling, maybe they might get some more value. Something that where BGSU wants to stage. It might make it easier for them to just engage, because it really looked like they were struggling to figure out where to engage.
I mean, well was a little bit of a different story. It definitely did seem like Jade Eagles got a lot better from point 1 to point 2 there, but just with all the swaps that we were seeing Bowling Green make, they were kind of hesitant to make some swaps of their own. I feel like once you saw that Junk Queen kind of come out, maybe you need to make a couple more swaps of your own. The ball did work out very well there for AB and MMR, but I feel like just as that kind of point went on, you saw everyone there on Bowling Green get very used to how they were wanting to play, looking for those boobs off the well or into the well. It just didn't necessarily work out for them, but hey, this is a series I think that could go the distance here. Bowling Green, though, like I said, finally gets their first map win of the season, and they're probably feeling really good about that.
Definitely, and a lot of it is also they at least now feel good about themselves, knowing that, hey, we've made actually some of these hero swaps mid-map, and gotten value from it. So they now at least have that confidence going into this map too, that if they make certain swaps, they know what to do for that specific map and what actually is going to enable them better. So we are now heading into our very quintessential hybrid map of King's Row, everyone's favorite, everything that expects to be brawl centered one way or another. Why did I say dive? That's very unlike King's Row, but we're at least expecting some level of brawl here for King's Row. And if what you've at least told us is that Jade Eagles prefer maybe that kind of brawlier setup.
That's what they told us on our team sheet here. But I mean, they did try to play around brawl a little bit there, and more so the dive for the most part here on that last map. But heading into King's Row, like you said, very much a brawl map. But I mean, as Overwatch 2 has kind of gone on, this is kind of becoming almost an everything type of map. You do see dive, you see poke, you see rush, you see everything on this map. It'll always be known as the brawliest of all brawl maps, or Scrims Row. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could see out here now. However, bans, that's going to be something really interesting to come out here. Jade Eagles going to have the first one. And honestly, if you look at the last map's performance there for Bowling Green, it's very difficult who you're going to go after, because we saw a wide variety of heroes come out there from the Falcons.
Exactly. You've seen the Cassidy from them. You've seen a bit of that May even towards that very end. You saw a Reaper also come out at them, and they were getting immense value from these three heroes, even that Sojourn to an extent, with the pocket of Kira Wolf. So I think if there's a hero that they would want to ban, it is something that would make it harder for them to maybe play that brawlier kind of setup, or maybe something that would make it harder to do the displacement that maybe they want to do if they decide to bring back that Wrecking Ball that ABNMR did show on well. So it's a matter of wonder then which specific character they want to go for. But if there's something brawl related and changing map designs, we have a general idea which character that's going to be.
Yeah, it would be funny though if we see Mercy.
It'll be funny if we see Mercy. Mercy can change the map design.
Yeah, Kara Wolf did play a lot of Mercy. It'd be really fun to see what else they could play here. But no, Jade Eagles, like you said, banning out the May here, and this is a very situational pick and a really good ban out here in my opinion. That first choke on the defensive side is really hard to get through, especially if you have a May there. Then you have Arches, and then that entire push there after you cap point A is just very, very difficult. You can find a lot of value with May with those ice walls. But now, going over to Bowling Green, what do you think necessarily Jade Eagles gave them the biggest problem on last round?
I think if there's anything, it has to definitely be how solid that, I guess, something that's gonna struggle with at least speed. I think if there's one thing that Jade Eagles has shown us is they want to play with some level of speed, high tempo, as opposed to how BGSU wanted to play, which was more of like getting that poke picks. And you already saw that from the type of support backline that the teams respectively had, right? BGSU sticking to that Juno Mercy, really enabling the pick potential of their DPS. But on the side of Jade Eagles, they did stick to that more Kiri Lucio kind of setup, understanding that they do want to play that speedier kind of composition. So I think it might be something that at least leans into denying some level of speed, or at least the utility with speed.
Well, it looks like you're going to be right about that when they're getting rid of the Juno. I mean, both sides did played it very well, in my opinion. So this is kind of a neutral ban here, if you ask me. Bowling Green, they played it, and Jade Eagles, they played it as well. Like I said, kind of a neutral kind of ban out here. Don't want the orbital raids, especially on how close quarters a lot of this map is at points. So you really get rid of a very strong ultimate here. But May and Juno being banned here, don't normally see these two being banned on the same map, but with it being King's Row, it does make a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense, and I think just pointing in further on like why we would possibly ban Juno besides the speed, I think there's high utility that comes with the torpedoes, the verticality of Juno for one, with that double jump being in the air, the glide, right? In a map like King's Row, yes, you have those chokes, but I think one thing that people tend to forget also with King's Row is that there's some level of verticality and high grounds that you do want to take easily, and at least as a support, you want to get there quickly. So characters like Juno can get to these high grounds pretty easily with like not much of a movement cost. So at the end of the day, that's what's going to work. But we do have swaps on I think the side of
Bowling
Bowling Green, right? Coming after Jimbo doing such a great job on that Juno character in Ilios, we now have Barbecue Chicken coming in to replace them on that role.
Yeah, and you see them hovering. You see the hero there is Ana. It would not surprise me if they come out playing the Ana. This is a really good map for Ana. The Bionades can do a lot of damage out here. You lose the Mei, you still keep the Ana. That's a really big play there for them. That's what they're gonna be running here. But as we head into King's Row, Bowling Green picking up their first map win last map, trying to keep that momentum here. Jade Eagles, though, I mean, they swept Oops All Vibes in the first. In week 1, lost in a sweeping fashion last week, and now, I mean, they're trying not to probably let it get a little bit too, let this map loss week get a little bit too large here, but this is a really good map to kind of even everything out for them.
Right, and just teasing at what this Jade Eagles composition wants to run, I think they really want to stick to something that can do a brawl poke kind of setup, not really much on speed. I think they are trying to enable this more let's stick to the point and fight for it till our, I guess, last dying breath. And what way to do that than the two supports that give you an extra quote-unquote life in this game with all of those. But BGSU already taking that high ground so that Fresh, who's been doing so well in the Soj, gets immense value with that Mercy Pocket.
And look, Kira's sticking on the Mercy here, and BGSU coming out on the dive comp. They must feel very comfortable how they played dive last map to be continuing it here. But someone needs to get some healing over there to Fatal, because they are kind of, slowly holding up this entire push. They need to get some health, got to be able to get that there. But now you see Jade Eagles got to be forced in that corner. I like what BGSU is doing here, really forcing them to play angles that they probably don't want to be in.
Yep, and Jade Eagles are now just playing in that kind of tight area with already Mr. Joker taking a pick onto Alex.
And that's a huge pick to lose early. That Alex does provide that dynamite dot damage, which is very huge here. Now they're going to be able to find ABMR, and if you're Jade Eagles, I think you just kind of have to give up the point here and just back up and reset to try to hold arches.
Yep, I think that is a great plan with Alex already making that swap to the Reaper, because you already know that I think how BGSU Falcons wants to play this is really at that coordinated dive. They're willing to wait a bit longer to create that setup before they dive in, and ABNMR already says like, yes, I think the best way to just deal with that, with the initially even more sustain, is playing that Junker Queen, and that allows you to just even pull back Fatal External should they dive in and you get a knife on them.
Yeah, ABNMR, though, playing a little bit aggressive here, as you really should on the Queen. Embers, though, going to be able to find Fresh, and look at what that does here to Bowling Green. Just back up, don't want to lose anyone else and stagger themselves out here. Jade Eagles, though, going to be smart and not go past those arches.
Yeah, but Ember's playing maybe a bit too close for comfort. Managed to at least get Fatal External with the help of Alex. So if I'm Jade Eagles, I think this is a necessary swap you need to prevent Fatal External from getting immense value from coming in. And they did force that Valkyrie from Kira Wolf, and already you could see the change from the side of BGSU to play something more brawlier and not easily something that can get melted by Reaper.
Ultimates galore coming out here. Kitsune Rush, Amp Matrix, and the Overclock coming out from Jade Eagles. The Kitsune Rush coming out from the other side, not really going to lead to anything. Jade Eagles emptying the bag right there. They will still have two coming in this next engagement, but hey, you kind of need to have a fight like that there. Take a couple more seconds off the clock, because look, Bowling Green, still 4 minutes on the clock for them.
Yeah, 4 minutes on the clock, but I think in that kind of fight, you wish you had at least just used one of those support ults, as they are both either speed or damage amp related, and you are going to be walking into this Soj ultimate, into this Blade. You need something to counter that, especially if you're ult tracking effectively. So if I'm Jade Eagles, I'm trying to find an opening to create an ult.
Rampage is ready here for ABMR, and I mean, this is a really good opportunity to use it, especially how Bowling Green's playing all close together. The studio is there for Barbecue Chicken. They will try to cleanse it, but I mean, just getting it out there will force out a lot from the other side here, but each team kind of poking at each other here. Fresh going to be able to find Alex, and now you see that Bowling Green get a little bit aggressive here. Blade coming out from Mr. Joker as Fatal Turtle goes after ABMR, but Conk going to be able to shut down the Blading Genji there. However, the orb going to be enough to find Wacky. Another charge coming out there from Fatal, going to be able to find AMBAR right there again that time, and look, Jade Eagles just on the back foot yet again. Conk accepting their fate. Bowling Green, I mean, this is going to be into one fight territory here for the second point.
Right, and if I were Jade Eagles, I honestly I'd wish AB and MR had already forced and pushed themselves in, maybe with that Junker Queen ultimate, because while you had killed Mr. Joker with that Genji blade, you still need something to fully clean it up. And Alex, with this Blossom, is trying to create that opening, but has to get out with their life first.
They know Alex is over there. Shatter coming out. ABMR to be the only one caught in it right there. Death Blossom coming out from Alex. Gonna be able to do a lot to the shield and to nothing else, but that's allowing Embers. And now that Rampage to come out and just find all the value you're looking for. Yeah, ABMR is gonna be pinned to a wall, but the damage already dealt here. ABNMR gonna be able to find 3 in that engagement.
And finally, Jade Eagles have some room to breathe, right? Managing to stop the cart before taking that full cap on second point. BGSU, though, will have 2 ultimates to work with. Kiriko Rush already being built by Barbecue Chicken, and you want that to at least layer it up with Fresh's overclock, because that's what you need as an answer. And if I am Jade Eagles, I would probably want to do the same with my respective. At least make it a fair and even game for both sides.
Yeah, we're probably gonna, like you said, see him coming out at the same time here. Very low health on the other side. Continuers coming out here from Bowling Green. Jade Eagles gonna hold on to it for a brief second, but it's gonna come out right there. Alex already finding Mr. Joker. Overclocks out from each side, but Alex gonna shut down Fresh, and this is already looking like a good team fight victory here for the Jade Eagles. Shatter comes out, finds 2, but it doesn't necessarily matter when you're dead. Jade Eagles hold strong here again.
Great job to Jade Eagles, really just holding that, reflecting it with the same ultimates that BGSU came out with. And in their favor for this next fight is that Coalescence by Kong, who is the only person on the current server with an ultimate to work with. So if I am Jade Eagles, I want to play aggressive with this. Like, maybe trickle the time down a bit longer by around few seconds before they engage. But this is something that would at least slow down the push of BGSU.
Playing aggressive with this would be... I don't necessarily know if it would be the best here. I think you want to use that Coalescence as a thing to kind of keep your team alive when everyone's low on health. Turtle, though, getting very low here. Another charge coming out, but not going to be able to land anyone this time, but already huge pick coming out here early from Bowling Green. There's the Coalescence from Conk as Bowling Green starts to force them back a little bit. Fatal needs to get some health, and they need it now, but it's not going to be enough. ABNMR going to be able to find them there, and now Jade Eagles, they see their go button. ABNMR especially sees that go button, finding to the rest of Bowling Green. They're just turning tail and running for their spot.
Yep, and with Alex just pushing up, trying to take more space from them, Jade Eagles have 2 ultimates to work with in this next fight. BGSU have their own Coalescence and that Genji blade. You want Mr. Joker to build towards that blade, and I think enabling that build and layering it with that Coalescence may be that answer to keep this fight on and going. But Barbecue Chicken, your job, stay alive, have that Suzu way ready for this Junker Queen ultimate.
5 seconds left to go here. We will go in overtime no matter what. And oh, the Death Blossom coming out in that backline. The Rampage as well. Fatal Turtle will be the first one to fall. Now the Coalescence and the Blade coming out here from Bowling Green. They need to be huge. They find one. Not going to be able to find a second one just yet, but they need a little bit more here. Barbecue Chicken going to be able to find Embers, but you still have ABMR alive and kicking. However, they're very low on health. They will fall. Bowling Green, they might be in this fight. They might still be in this round. You have to get rid of Alex, so in that backline, they're doing a lot here. They will be able to TP away back to safety. There's gonna be another time for a retouch here for Jade Eagles, and they're just gonna immediately go. Alex doesn't have a lot here. ABMR gonna swap over to the ride, but is it gonna be enough time to get back here, especially for Fatal Turtle?
Yep, there's enough time for Jade Eagles with your team coming back, but it's the same case for BGSU. Now, Critical Rush available for Barbecue Chicken, and they might need to just let it rip to keep this alive, and that's exactly what they do.
Continue to rush out. Jade Eagles staying in this fight. Conk will find one. Embers popping their own overclock, looking for anything here. ABMR taken out. Fatal Turtle with 2. Fresh shuts down their overclock. And Bowling Green gonna be able to keep this round alive here. And at times during that last engagement, especially after Fatal Turtle was the first one to die, I thought that round was over, but no, give it up to that Bowling Green State team for being resilient.
Oh, exactly, and just really enabling Fresh throughout all of that, because in that Fresh v Alex setup, it was just merely the supports keeping up Fresh, even better than, the support line of Alex keeping them up, and they now are going to build towards this Blossom, trying to find a Kiriko who is going to be a sore spot to the team.
And now Fresh gonna have to use that Wraith form to get out, but they're gonna be able to safely get inside that small room right there. Rampage comes out, hits for the Suzu, not gonna be enough as you see Fatal find 2. Barbecue finds a 3rd. Alex pops that Death Blossom, trying to do whatever they can here. Colas is now coming out from Kira to keep everyone alive. Fresh with their own Death Blossom here. But look at the cart, it's already at this point here. There's gonna be no more touches. Alex TP'd away to keep themselves alive, but it's a little bit of a mistake there. Bowling Green, after almost being stopped at point 2, complete completes the map with time.
That's a great play from the side of Bowling Green. Getting the necessary picks in that last fight. Immense target focus was the name of the game for them, and that made sure so clearly that they were not stopped at that second point. So great job for them turning things around and just keeping the cart rolling towards that third. And if I am Jade Eagles, I am wishing that I had at least that May to work with for at least this fight, especially with how aggressive BGSU are just playing.
Yeah, and especially, this was something we talked about last map. The fact that Bowling Green, they are very flexible with the characters they've been playing. I mean, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of them stay on the same character besides Kira. Here on the Mercy, and we talked about seeing the Mercy come out there a little bit on Elia, saying it's a very weird pick. We kind of thought it would hurt them, but honestly, Kira's been doing a lot here on this map as well, and they made some swaps here and there, but they made the right swaps at the right time here. You do see the Ryan coming back out here for Bowling Green, but I like what AB NMR is coming out with here, the Zarya Thor.
Oh, Zarya is a very interesting pick to at least go into this next fight, given what BGSU is at least teasing us for what they're running on their defense. So a lot of this is going to really rely on ABNMR taking all that damage and really finding that select pick. And that might honestly just be that Honor and maybe that Mercy at the end of the day, who are going to keep up this team of BGSU with already Alex just tossing a Sonic to get them out. And that's a huge pick.
Yeah, that's a little bit on barbecue chicken right there, just kind of poking their head a little bit too far. Kira, though, going to be able to get them back in this fight, so no harm, no foul here early on. Fresh will find Conk, and Jade Eagles, going to probably have to back up off that for a moment. They're going to have to wait for their Lucio.
Yeah, I gotta wait for the Lucio, but I think it's trying to displace these people on the high ground. I think they're struggling to get this rotate that they need, because Fresh and Barbecue Chicken are just allowed to free reign on that high ground, as Fatal External just has to manage that choke with Barbecue Chicken, who's now finally back, and I think he's got res by Kira Wolf. So if I am Jade Eagles, my answer is at least, how do I get this Ash Mercy off the high ground? And that's a huge pick, and res just comes out yet again from Kira Wolf.
And the TB coming out there from Embers, trying to get rid of Fresh, but Fresh, I mean, they have been a consistent player all night long here for Bowling Green so far, and if they continue how they're playing, Jade Eagles are going to have a big problem on their hand. Alex, though, on this off angle, has a couple great opportunities here to maybe find an early pick, but not finding any heads there just yet. Do have Dragons, though, ready to go, and oh, they're going to be able to find Joker. Here comes the Dragons in arches. Conk finds Kira, so no res available now, but it seems like Bowling Green, yeah, this fight is a done one. It's lost, and nothing can change it there. Jade Eagles, though, should be able to cap up point A.
Great job from Jade Eagles, creating that opening, and as I said, you finally displace this Mercy Ash on the high ground and force them to play on that low ground. It makes it easier for you to take this first point, leading it to maybe one more fight at this Arches area. So this is where we're probably going to see a next set of ultimates come online, one of them being that a Nano from Barbecue Chicken, which is probably either going to go on to Fresh, who's been doing so much work, or maybe onto this Reinhardt just to sustain, as there's a charge in to pressure out the Reaper.
The Reaper getting the bubble right there, and ABMR has been just highly charged all map long. Consuming Rush coming out there from Jade Eagles. They want to get through the choke, and they want to get through it fast. Kira Wolf playing a little bit dangerously there, but a nice charge coming out there from Fatal to get ABMR away from their team. They'll take themselves out with their own right click, but that is a perfect play there for Bowling Green. They're going to find Whacking Out as well. Fatal going to stop that charge there and just hold at arches yet again.
And a cost-effective ult fight for the side of BGSU, as it was only the Mercy ultimate of use, but with where Mr. Joker has died, this may not be the best spot with it, with heads and clicks coming from Embers cleaning it up. This is a time for BGSU to just back off. Just maybe their players staying a bit too long for comfort at that first point. So Jade Eagles capitalizing on it, pressuring them a bit more, and Shatter committed.
Shatter committed, will find two, but is there going to be any follow-up? B coming out from Conk, Death Blossom as well, going to be put to sleep right there. I was going to say, Ember's been playing really well so far this entire series. Alex finds Barbecue, but Fatal going to be able to pin Alex into a wall. The shield not going to save you there, Fatal. And you're going to have to kind of wait for a moment and spawn, but I mean, if Joker's going to be able to find ABMR, Fresh will be able to do that. That should slow down Jade Eagles here for a moment, and hell, it's going to force them to fall back.
Yeah, Conk needs to tally away back with the team, and I think ABNMR just stayed way too long for their welcome after taking out Fatal X Turtle. I think they should have just hightailed it back to the team, but hey, if there's one thing you have at least for this next fight, it's Alex with those Dragons. Add a choke is going to do immense value, and I think you need that to at least force another ultimate from the side of BGSU. That looks painful.
almost getting the headshot right there. That would have been a huge early pick. Dragons coming out, and it doesn't seem like everyone knows where they are just yet. Death Blossom from Mr. Joker struggling to find anything, but will just pump a lot of damage into the other side where you see their teammates are just cleaning up one after one. Alex gonna be able to find barbecue chicken, but they're gonna be able to escape with their life as well. However, if you're Bowling Green, hey, that's a fight victory right there for you, and you might be able to get a couple staggers out as well.
Yep, they are at least stuck in a corner and just pincered by the team of BGSU Falcons. As for our Jade Eagles, I wouldn't have stayed there. I would have just really hightailed it back to spawn rather than staying there, especially with how knowledgeable I guess these BGSU players are, realizing that they just need to pincer the last remaining players of Jade Eagles. Jade Eagles trying to create that opening, figure out what they need to do to turn things around, and that Kiriko rush might be the answer, but with the 3 ultimates that BGSU have coming in, they need the target focus alongside it.
I wonder who the Nano is going to go on there, as Barbecue was just kind of hovering over Fresh there for a moment. Fatal fighting Alex out here early. That Alex has been really good on the Hanzo so far this round. I think getting rid of them early is a huge play there. Now the overclock and Nano coming out onto Fresh as they look for anyone. Suzu invested there early, whacking, just trying to do what they can to keep themselves alive, but Fresh just not going to be able to find any value there with that overclock, but they do force out a couple key cooldowns there. Considering what's coming out from whacking. Fatal Turtle though finds Conk. Now the annihilation from ABNR finds Barbecue Chicken, but hey, Fatal Turtle is still alive and kicking. They're going to be able to shut down ABNR. The Ember will find Kira, but kills being traded back and forth. But like I said, as long as this Junk Queen is alive and kicking for Bowling Green, they have a chance in every fight.
This Joker Fatal X Turtle combination is just really solid. I think they're just learning how to play along each other's cooldowns to create that value, and have already taken control of the stairs that, you know, Jade Eagles may want to at least take and play around. So a Sonic from Alex might answer their questions to figure out where everyone is, and maybe this aggressive play from Kong.
Yeah, they beat early here. This is going to be really interesting to see here. Rampage going to come out, only hits onto 3. The Suzu will cleanse 2 of them there, but Conk not going to be one of them to cleanse. You do trade out Barbecue Chicken, Death Blossom coming out from Joker, not going to be able to find anything there. But that card not really moving at the moment here, but Bowling Green, this is certainly a lost fight. Fatal Turtle can do a lot, but not in a 4v1 situation.
No, but if you can at least get one more pick and send someone to spawn, that might just be the answer, and exactly what they were able to do. Managed to at least get 2, so that makes things a bit easier for BGSU to at least hold for this next stroke while waiting for their Junker Queen to come back to that being alive. So great job on Jade Eagles, at least for getting through that second point, and they at least have this Blossom to work with for the next fight. But it's a matter of figuring out how to displace the people on high ground, such as Fresh, who's just gonna pepper damage and would normally answer to it, other than maybe Alex if they can get a lucky headshot from that distance.
And I love that Fresh run back over to the Ash here. They did so good on that first point with the angles there. But the knife gonna pull Alex back into the small room. They grab the large health pack, but that's not gonna save him here. Alex gonna be the first one to fall. Another knife stick there as Conk loses their life. And now you do not go into a small room with a woman who is holding a shotgun. And that is what everyone on the Jade Eagles is learning right now. ABMR gonna be staggered out here, but a nice team fight victory there for BGSU.
Yeah, and you could see that in response to all of that, Alex realizing that it's a bit hard to at least try to land that headshot on Hanzo. For someone who is moving and has control of that high ground, they switch over to the same character of the Ash. So that could at least create some dynamite, create Bob, and at least create an opening. But Fatal X Turtle is looking for that opening to use that Junker Queen opening.
Yeah, Rampage is on both sides. Fatal gonna use it right there. Lands onto 4, but this plan's gonna come out onto everyone. Fatal will find 1, but Ember's Death Blossom, it's huge. Finds 2, third one there on the Fatal Turtle. But if you're Bowling Green, you need to fall back quickly, regroup here. You will have a spawn advantage.
Yep, and that's what you need to play with. So if I am at least Joker over here, I should at least like chill, wait for everyone to come back before, you know, pushing point with everyone else on the team, and that's exactly what they do. Rush already committed by Jade Eagles to at least close this out.
Okay, Kitsunore's coming out from Kira Wolf as well. The Rampage gonna be able to hit onto 3. Cleanse only lands on the Kira Wolf himself. The Nano thrown out onto, I believe, Fatal Turtle. He'll bob out on the field as well. But Jade Eagles doing everything they need here to win this fight and complete the map as well. Thor, we're heading to overtime.
We are heading to overtime, and Jade Eagles made that look a bit dicier than it should be, but managed to clear it out in the end. So at least they have that extra minute to work and at least turn things around. But you at least now know what BGSU at least wants to roll out with on their defense. it's now a matter of question how quick can they execute to stop BGSU from getting the same value that they did in their initial defense.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you have to kind of compare how those first two the first two spawn or point attacks went for both these teams on their first time around. Bowling Green, they won it in one fight and it was pretty convincing. Jade Eagles, they had a couple of picks stagger them out a little bit here, so that's necessarily something that you can't really do here. You can't play slow, and I like that both these teams are kind of going back to what they were running towards the end of that last round. It was working very well for both of them here.
Exactly, and in that kind of scenario, you know that you want to at least speed things up. It's going to be a matter of now knowing who they're going to go on first, because if I'm looking at that BGSU composition, I think the easiest thing to at least rush upon and melt is going to be that Ana. It is more forcing out that nade that is going to be an immense pain in their rear end.
Absolutely, but on the other side, I mean, Alex coming out on the Ashe, that could be a big difference maker for them here. You're not going to have it on the other side for Bowling Green. I thought Fresh, that was going to be a guarantee that they were going to come out here. Conk, though, and everyone for Jade Eagles, they want to get into that side room right there, but Joker will find Alex, and now you're down one here. I mean, Bowling Green not going to follow up there and try to find more, but it will put Alex in a very interesting position.
No, and that's, I think, the position you may want, right? If you can coordinate your Ashe coming back from spawn, toss a dynamite where the fight is, that pincer is going to make both teams have to figure out who to go in on, and that creates an opening on the engagement.
They find that they're but a huge anti-nade. Conk, ABMR almost getting taken out there. Alex very low on health, gonna be able to keep themselves alive here for a moment. Fatal Turtle will find another one. Barbecue Chicken gonna be traded out here, but this might be it for this round here. Jade Eagles, you have to have a quick reset here, but keeping into this engagement is a choice here for them. Whacking falls, and now it looks like Conk's gonna be able to keep this overtime wick alive here. And you have ABMR coming back out on the Doom, but it looks like they're just being stonewalled at the door. No one's gonna be able to get touched there, and Bowling Green only needs 33%, but Thor, we could be staring down the barrel of a draw here.
I mean, there's going to be a lot on the end of Jade Eagles to create that same scenario that BGSU have, and stopping BGSU from even capping that 33% that they need. So if I am Jade Eagles, I'm thinking, what is it that's going to make it super uncomfortable for this BGSU Falcons to play the characters they want to play, which have been that Mercy that's constant in the air, Fresh doing that immense damage whether on Soj or on Ashe. You want to know what my idea or answer is? I think someone should pull out the Torbjorn.
Yeah.
I think someone should just pull out the Torbjorn.
Torba is really strong right now. You know, no matter how this engagement really goes, Bowling Green's going to have 2, potentially maybe even 3 fights here. 1 or 2 more than what Jade Eagles had. So, I mean, you could build an ultimate here in about a minute. Then you still have that other 30 seconds to kind of wait and see how it comes out.
You're exactly. But if I am Jade Eagles, I'm seeing what I am seeing for a composition. I think a lot of this is going to involve the swinging and just melting whoever appears once you swing. So a lot of this is going to be ABNMR and Embers really coordinating the swings in that turret form, because Embers on turret form is what's going to super melt this Junker Queen as they push to choke.
Yeah, the grenade already landing on them. Fatal Turtle, though, I mean, they're not necessarily engaging far in. Jade Eagles didn't necessarily have anyone there to try to clean them up. Instead, a little bit of a misplay there by them. But now, I mean, the turret form coming out here, gonna force BGSU here to play a little bit slow. Look for a pick somehow.
Yep, and I think that's already forcing a lot of cooldowns from the side of BGSU, and they're trying to play this trope, trying to slow it down a bit, waiting for that turret form, and that's exactly what they need. But the swings of ABN and Mark are making this very painful for the Junker Queen.
And hey, finding Joker out there early, who you saw was trying to just get in that backline as best as they could. That's going to slow down BGSU here even a little bit more here. I would not be surprised if we see a potential swap coming out for them, but no, now Alex focusing in here on Fatal. Not going to be able to find them just yet, but if you're Bowling Green, you need something to go your way fast here, or you have to really get a quick reset.
Yeah, and that, orb kill onto Mr. Joker isn't that great, but hey, getting that massive damage of Embers out, it might just be the answer. At least makes you have some breathing room as ABNMR is trying to pressure out this Junker Queen that is trying to get into the backline.
Fatal gonna be able to keep themselves alive here. Bowling Green starting to cap the point up. Continuing Rush coming out here from whacking. This is what I said would happen. The ultimates could be built up here. Overclock coming out. The Shatter finds all 5, but is it gonna be enough for the Jade Eagles? They find 2. Overclock still online here for Fresh. They have to do a quick reset here. Ember's back. It looks like Thor. We're gonna have a draw.
Yeah, we're gonna have a draw with that last set of clutch from Kira Wolf trying to get some Velvet Coalescence, but that is just not enough. Jade Eagles turning things around for this Kings Row matchup and at least toss us into a draw. Dex, you know what draws come with? A potential for a map 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we talked about last night on stream that we hadn't seen a map 6 yet, I believe, in any of the games. Well, it's now possible here, so and these are the 2 teams I really believe that could give it to us, both them being collegiate teams, both them trying to bounce back a little bit here. But if you are the Jade Eagles, you take that map as a victory. Yeah, the scoreline still has you losing, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a lot worse. You could be staring down at the 0-2 kind of lineup, and that just makes it harder to bounce back from. But hey, we take those draws as certain teams. So if I'm Jade Eagles, we'll take it. And at least if there's one thing they have, it's maybe some form of a break to at least get things, all together, figure out what they want to do for that next map.
Yep, absolutely. With that being the end of our second map, we're going to give these teams a little bit of a break to try to regain their composures here a little bit, especially after that draw. Everyone, stick around for map 3. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, welcome back everyone from that break right there. The scoreboard might say 1-0, but we have definitely played 2 maps here. Jade Eagles doing everything they needed there on King's Road to force the draw, and Thor. I mean, we saw both those teams are kind of have really good performances. I mean, there were players that were really hot, players that got really cold. It was really, really fun to watch.
It was very fun to watch because these hot and cold moments were from both sides of the teams, making it for a very exciting Overwatch. And a draw is just enough also of an excitement to show, not showing that Jade Eagles, just really showing that they're not going to just let this go against them. They're going to continue fighting and maybe hopefully figure out what strategy to go into for this next map, which happens to be Runasapi. So if I am these teams, I'm already expecting something kind of speedy, kind of something brawly, because if there's one thing we know about push maps, it's somehow sometimes more chaotic than actual control maps.
Yeah, absolutely, but especially with it being Runasapi, I would not be surprised to see potentially a Junker Queen ban come out here from both these sides, from one of these sides. I mean, both of them have played it. Maybe the other really thinks there's an opportunity here to see what other tanks the teams have here, because Junker Queen was a really good tank there for both picks, or for both sides. DPS line, I mean, you have the Mei coming back. You could get rid of the Genji. You could get rid of the Tracer. You could get rid of the Ashe, because it did seem like the Deadeyes or the hit scan players for both sides were doing a really good job there. Support line, like you said, you want to play a little bit fast. Maybe the Lucio is a ban here, but it will be Jade Eagles banning out first here again because of the draw. And I mean, Thor, what do you think we expect to see here from them?
If we're a team that wants to maybe slow things down, something to, or at least something that makes it a bit harder to sustain, then maybe that Junker Queen is indeed the pick. If you want something that slows tempo and at least lessens the sustain, because if there's one thing that Junker Queen Shout does really, besides that additional speed for the team, it's really keeping up the DPS players that want to dive in. So a lot of this is that coordinated dive rush gameplay from a Junker Queen along with a Genji, and with already Genji being banned by Jade Eagles already in that first map, that's something they cannot ban again. So you might as well ban something that combos with that Genji very well.
Mm-hmm. Jade Eagles, their ban's about to come in here, and it will end up being the Junker Queen. I mean, I thought this was exactly what we were going to see. Both sides are having a lot of success with it, but it definitely seemed like at times Bowling Green's Queen was a lot better than Jade Eagles' Queen.
Yep, and if that is the case, right, with Jade Eagles banning that Junker Queen, you're now limited to only 2 heroes with that, speed ability to get things going around. And if I am BGSU, I've already banned that Juno character. So the only speedy character left is Lucio. So now it's a matter of a question. Do I want to waste this ban of mine on a speedy character like Lucio, who, while they do have that default speed at certain moments, right, and an amp cooldown of that's probably around 12 seconds, would it be better to use maybe that ban on another character that's doing maybe a lot of work for the side of Jade Eagles, maybe a Kiriko perhaps, right? Rush being very oppressive for both of these teams, or even like Moira, because both of these teams have really shown really solid coalescences from the respective support players.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised to see a hit scan player be banned out here, but no, it will be the Lucio here. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. This is a really good map for Lucio. Long sight lines allow you to, speed through stuff. The healing is good on Lucio right now as well. BGSU wants to ban them out. And for the most part, while we have seen Bowling Green play Lucio a little bit, we have seen it a lot more from Jade Eagles if you go back and look at Ilios here. But now, as we get ready to head into Runasapi here, the Queen banned the Lucio band here. For BGSU. What do you necessarily expect to see as you do see our hero or our series bands so far?
Yeah, I am at least seeing some, at least for that support line, you might actually have some combination of maybe an Ana Kiriko, for example, or maybe something that's a bit slower, right? Brig might come into play. But I think the fact that this Mercy has not been banned is honestly a solid surprise from the side of Jade Eagles, because BGSU with Kira Wolf has been doing immense work on that Mercy and just enabling the DPS line.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, you kind of look at the Mercy pick. Like we said, when we first saw it, we were kind of questioning it. Is it going to be enough to really help them out? And yeah, Kira Wolf has done a good job on it so far, but at times the Mercy is kind of a little bit of a sitting duck there on that support line. Kira Wolf, like we said, done a really good job on it, and it has made swaps at the right time. I think it might. I think it's actually a smart thing that they're not banning out the Mercy, because when we see Kira Wolf on other heroes, they have been playing as good as they have been on the Mercy.
Oh yeah, I think that is a good point to make. But if I am at least Jade Eagles, right, I want to make things a bit more difficult um for BGSU in order to at least turn things around for the map, get that first map win on the board. So we have at least from our observers just a slight combination of these alpacas to tease us on what is happening. So
This is orange. No, this is orange. They have every alpaca on this map probably like hard cammed.
well, it seems like it seems like there needs to be some fixes needed in the lobby right now with a certain character. Someone has voiced out, hey, why can't we click the other speedy character? So seems like lobby needs to be a bit fixed because they want that Juno on the board, it seems. I think both teams realizing that if they want that speed, they really need that Juno on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, it should be a little bit of a quick fix, so it won't be long before we're back in here. And Juno does make sense here again. You can find a lot of value with the orbital rays and just the amount of healing that we've seen and damage as well from them already this series. I mean, Juno still gets played a lot at every level. Not necessarily a surprise that if we see the Juno come back out here, but what do you necessarily expect to be seeing alongside that Juno if we do see the Martian?
Yeah, if we do see the Martian, we are probably expecting maybe something akin to, when she first came out, something like that Juno Brig kind of setup. Still some level of value that could sustain, because if you don't have something like a Junker Queen that's just constantly pushing in, it allows at least the team to play a bit more stable with that Brig. So maybe that's something you come out with the Juno. Other players have decided to stick with maybe a Mercy with it, but I also know Juno Kiriko also works just for the sheer fact that you could do multiple angles from different directions, and I think that might be something that Jade Eagles might be leaning into from what they are teasing with us.
Yeah, absolutely. But this bull is currently staring into my soul with its lifeless eyes here. But ball coming back out here for ABMR. We have seen them play it a little bit. I thought it found very mixed success, especially once Bowling Green was able to kind of get a good idea of how they wanted to play with it here. But again, I mean, Kira sticking on that Mercy. You have Kiriko's on both sides. This is kind of what we expected to see.
Yep, this is what we were expecting to see. And if I'm ABNMR seeing what they have, I need to figure out who is the important target right away. And I think that might be the Soj or the Kiriko, and forcing them to use a slide or a cooldown right away. Something that takes long for them to use, as they're already rolling in trying to cause some level of chaos. But Alex is already picked off by Joker.
And now, I mean, you see ABMR kind of low for health as well. They're going to be able to be taken out here. No, but that the large health pack is already gone here, so they're very low. Fatal. You can't be making a mistake like that. You just put Jade Eagles back into this fight here. Yeah, Embers fell, but as long as they still have this ball alive. Oh, never mind. Fresh got at the collateral there.
Yeah, a lot of that just has to be ABNMR and Wacky. Just really slow things down slightly. Yes, you've already picked out Fatal Turtle. You've already picked out another player from the side of BGSU. Sometimes a soft slowdown or reset is the answer just to get the HP back. But it looks like maybe that the reason they're doing that is because they want to make that switch. ABM are going to that Ramatra, allowing for at least a more stable, solid presence on the point, especially against the D.Va and the Mei stack.
Yeah, and I mean, the Mei was banned out last map. Alex finding Kira Wolf there, who just pushed a little bit too far up. Fresh gonna be taken out as well. And with Jade Eagles making these swaps here, look at how they're just coming back in this one here. Alex already finding 3, looking for a 4th one here as Fatal tries to run away. The Ice Wall getting an eye him, and oh, this is gonna be a very, very bad stagger.
I think that could have staggered a bit slightly longer, but that is completely fine if I am Jade Eagles, because that means they have this free push for the next point. Alex already showing us a lot of changes in how they are able to at least contribute with that team, with getting that really solid pick onto Kira Wolf and finding those great walls to deny angles and escape routes. But there is an overclock incoming, and your goal is to at least melt that soldier and pressure them out.
Well, you do take the lead here if you're the Jade Eagles, which is a good thing, and Joker looking very low but fresh. Gonna be able to find Embers out here early on. These right clicks from Alex have been good so far, almost chunking one. Now Barbecue Chicken looking a little bit worse for wear here as well after that one. Nice Vortex there to keep Fatal on the ground. Blizzard coming out. It's gonna be a little bit of a long arm throw there. The Orbital Ray as well. Jade Eagles, they want this point. They want it bad here. Bomb coming out there from Fatal, not gonna be able to find anyone. Valkyrie coming out from here, but you just see Jade Eagles finding pick after pick here. Joker pops the blade, just looking, they're slicing and dicing, finding two, almost getting three right there, but Fatal gonna take that away from them now though. ABMR, I mean, this fight's all but over here, and yeah, they're just gonna go, they're gonna go bungee jumping here real quick.
They're gonna take a nice dive into the scenic view of Runa Sapi just as needed, not giving any more ult charge to the side of BGSU Falcons. Smart play, Fatal Turtle already pushing up, trying to clear out where everyone is and spots the Mei and everyone else. But that might be dicey as their escape route might be out, hovers over them, needs to regroup, and that's exactly creating the opening for Jade Eagles to come in.
And Joker, first one to fall here, whacking pops at Kitsune Rush as well. Bowling Green just trying to get their own forward spawns back. The Annihilation coming out as well. At Jade Eagles, maybe investing a little bit too much into this engagement here. Kira Wolf pulling out the pistol here for a moment, but it was just a sign of, yeah, that fight's all but over. Let me try to kill someone if I could.
If I'm Jade Eagles though, I wish they at least staggered a bit more. I think that would at least make these things easier, make these pushes easier for them, make it harder for BGSU to actually regroup effectively, dwindle the time down even further. And I think there's like a lot of lost opportunities, especially when it was the Diva and Mercy staggered, especially when they've used all those ults, and BGSU will be coming in with not one and not two, but potentially four this next fight.
Well, speaking of ultimates, the Kitsune Rush already out. Fatal has to use their bomb just to get back into mech here. They're going to be able to find Conk, though, before they get back in there. So an even trade coming out here right now. Kira does pop their own Valkyrie here to try to keep everything going. Fresh can be able to find Embers. Joker has to charge or slash themselves out, but they're going to be immediately falling right after that. Whacking, trading it back out here again. I mean, this has just been the story of this map here so far. Just scrappy fights. Jade Eagles, though, will add on to their lead here, but ABMR, again, last one alive here. They might have to fall back here real quick.
They need to fall back or just die on point, which is what they need, because if they continue allowing for BGSU to push this bot further without the team yet, it's going to be harder for them. But it seems like their Juno is back and they're to try to enable them with that escape, but is it enough?
Look at what Fatal did here. They're getting off the Diva. It hasn't really been working out well for them. They're going over to the Orisa instead. I like this here, especially into how aggressive ABMR is playing at the moment. But again, if you're Bowling Green here, yes, we see the frog.
That is a great frog, and that's
Blizzard
also a great Blizzard from them.
Orbital Ray out as well. Jade Eagles, they want to win a fight here. They want to win it fast and just add on to their lead. But Bowling Green doing a good job kiting around it. Fatal gonna be able to find Alex, but you see those health bars there for Bowling Green. They're all very low. Hell, 3, make it 4 are all but gone here. Actually, somehow Barbecue stays alive here, but it's gonna be tough for them to stay alive any longer.
Yep, and for Fresh, they just gotta hightail it out, not get staggered any further, but Embers is there to chase after them and realizes everyone else from BGSU is respawning, and that means go back with team, get a better angle, better high ground, and wait for this bot to push a bit more forward, especially now that you have Rush from Wacky.
Rush coming out, but I believe he got denied by the barrier there for the bot. Now the Annihilation coming out from ABMR here, just trying to do whatever they can, but I mean, Fatal Turtle's doing a good job forcing them back. Fresh will be able to find Embers here, but you need a little bit more right now if you're Bowling Green, because look, Jade Eagles are continuing to push this card here without any like stop, and look how close it is to the end at the moment. Blade coming out from Joker. They need to find something with it this time around. Joker gonna be able to find one. That's gonna be all they get with it. Joker actually picking up another one once it ends. Conk falling as well. Now finally Bowling Green, they can take a sigh of relief knowing that they have stopped the bleeding, but man, do they have a large uphill battle ahead of them.
Yep, but they have 4 ultimates to work with, which is exactly what they need, because Jade Eagles had used a lot of that from that previous round. So it's knowing that Ember is probably the only one with that ultimate, they need to know that's their numero 1 target. They need to get that out to make sure that they are able to push this without using any other ultimates.
You see him focusing in on ABMR here. Now the Casino Rush coming out from Chicken. Same thing with the overclock out from Fresh. Looking to try to find anyone here. Will be able to find Alex right before Alex takes care of them. Now they can find one more. That's exactly the pick you needed if you're Bowling Green to get yourself back into this map. It's going to be a cleanup crew here now for the Falcons. 2 ultimates invested, 2 online, but look at Jade Eagles. They're about to have 2, maybe even 3.
Yep, exactly. And I'm Jade Eagles. I made the best play, making sure that Embers did not use that Sojourn ultimate, at least to turn things around, especially with how aggressive BGSU had decided to play. They knew they just needed to kite back a bit and at least get something, or at least a trade in that process. Maybe didn't get in the end, but at least they now have ultimates to work with Comp already building towards that orbital ray, which they may need to push through this next set of fights.
I like how Fatal's playing this. He's trying to buy a little bit of space here. Terror Surge coming out! Not going to be able to find anyone. Actually, no, we'll be able to find Whacking. I thought that Suzu was going to be enough to save him, but look at this. Bowling Green already cleaning up in this engagement. The Blizzard that was invested and the Overclock. They're all going to go to waste here for the Jade Eagles.
Yeah, but I think at least they have that spawn closer to them. So a lot of this is going to be this next fight. Embers has to pop off big, as there are no ultimates for BGSU to work with. Maybe the Blade of Mr. Joker. But I think you're hoping that Whacking or maybe someone gets those headshots, clicks them off, and that's exactly the answer. And marks them as they're about to end their from behind.
Joker gonna be able to find Konkto out early, the Kitsune Rush and the Overclock coming out here from the Jade Eagles. You already see them find 2, make it 4 right there. Bowling Green, I mean, they cut into the lead a large amount right there, but 13 meters left to go here for them. Thor, those are gonna be the hardest 13 meters for them to get.
Yeah, but I think that is something that they're able to at least do this next fight. Blade was not committed by BGSU. Joker still having it online, and for Jade Eagles, not really an answer to it. Maybe this Ramacho ultimate is going to be the answer, and I do like this because this means that where they're leaving it, they're forcing that fight into maybe a better angle for Jade Eagles. So now in this open area, BGSU has to force and play in the long sidelines of Embers.
Part of me doesn't really like that they didn't at least try to reset the spawns there, because that allowed Bowling Green to get back into this one fast. However, you do find Fresh, you do find Joker. Hey, maybe it was working out like you said, and look at that. Bowling Green, they're just all falling one by one here. The spawn reset gonna come in here now. 30 seconds left on the clock for Bowling Green.
Yep, and I think they just need to push that bot a bit further, make sure that they don't get any of that short spawns. So pushing the bot past it a bit now forces BGSU to play in this pre-start position of where the bot would be. And with 2 ultimates online for Jade Eagles, this might be a bit of a painful push, especially when you're... Well, you do have 4 ultimates to work with. So this is going to be a lot of can you sustain through a lot of slow and freezing.
Fatal Turtle got the bad spawns there. That's what took them so long to get back here. But now, overtime, you have to win a couple fights here right now. But you're going to lose the Blade out early. Blizzard coming out here, going to be able to keep some people alive. The Terror Surge not enough there for Fatal. Now, though, the Annihilation is out. The Kitsune Rush isn't going to be enough this time around. Fresh tries to do what they can, too, though. It's not going to be enough. Jade Eagles will tie the series as we head into map 4.
Great job for Jade Eagles turning things around, realizing that I think what they needed for a lot of that is better understanding of where they wanted to take their fights. And at least from what I've been seeing is Alex seems to actually be doing solidly well on this main character. So that maybe that ban initially on that first map was really just to prevent them from playing this character and wrecking havoc in that first map. So maybe a good ban by BGSU to begin with, but now that they have exhausted it, they're going to potentially have to deal with these next set of maps.
Yeah, we do know that our next map, I believe, is New Junk City. Yeah, it is New Junk City. So a Flashpoint type map here. You go back to what we saw back on our first map of Ilios. I mean, that was a good showing from Bowling Green. Yeah, it was really back and forth, but you see it there. Bowling Green took it 2-0. Jade Eagles did keep it interesting, but Bowling Green was just able to find the right stuff at the right time there, heading into a Flashpoint map where it's very similar to Control. I mean, you have to kind of give the edge here early to Bowling Green, especially since they have the first ban as well.
Exactly. That is completely true. So it's going to be trying to figure out what BGSU wants to, I guess, ban for this specific type of map. Understanding that Jade Eagles do want to play something brawly. It seems that they've kind of gotten their groove in the type of brawl that they want to play throughout that chaos. So there really isn't much options for BGSU but to like lean into that solid fact and maybe work around it. So I think if there's one thing that at least New Junk City or these Flashpoint type of maps enables is actually more of those kind of like angles poking towards the point. I feel like that's something that isn't as available in a map like Runasapi.
Absolutely, but you do have one thing coming back here for Bowling Green. That is the Queen. That was banned out last map for them. Jade Eagles cannot make that ban again here. So, I mean, the Queen has looked the best for them all night long. It might, and especially with New York City being a good Queen map, in my opinion, you could see it. We could see Dive come back out here. I mean, every point does have good diveable opportunities here, but Bowling Green, I mean, they looked strong so far this entire series. Jade Eagles, I mean, they looked a little bit lost there on Ilios, but after Ilios, they have kind of turned it around and forced us into a map 4 here with the series tied at 1-1. But Bowling Green making the first ban here. Thor, where do you think they're going?
I think without having to like cause problems by, banning another support, lessening the hero pools and all that, you might go into something maybe in the damage area, right? We haven't really seen a lot of damage bans from these two teams, right? We've only seen probably that Mei and that Genji initially, so I wouldn't be surprised if there may be a ban on a character that the DPS line of Jade Eagles have done well with, and because they can't ban the Mei anymore, it really might end up having to be something like the Sojourner, maybe the Reaper, which have been proving to create some value for Jade Eagles.
I mean, the Soj, the Reaper, the Ashe have been doing a lot for them here. It's gonna be the Soj, as you kind of hinted at there. A really good ban in my opinion here for Bowling Green. You kind of needed to get this ban out of the way. It kind of seems like no matter what, Jade Eagles just kind of were able to find a lot of value with their overclocks there, but you also are kind of taking away the Soj from your own hit scan player as well. I mean, our Fresh have been playing good all night long.
Yeah, but Fresh also might just have a probably deeper hit scan type of pool. Maybe we're gonna see them pull out with that Ashe, maybe see them pull out with that a character we haven't seen today, which is a Tracer. So this could be an interesting matchup. But if I am Jade Eagles, right, if I want to play a specific kind of character for this next fight and not really dip into the support pool, definitely will have to be banning a tank. Now, what is a tank that's gonna be a pain in the rear end, right, when it comes to engages? Something that slows them down, something that slows a push. So something that maybe a Ramatra with their slow might be the answer. Something like an Orisa who creates the distance might also just be that. So I'm expecting at least one of these brawlier, tankier tank line heroes is what's going to be banned.
And it's going to be the Orisa, which I'm surprised with. I mean, I didn't expect it to be the Ramatra. That is what Jade Eagles were playing the entirety of last map, and it worked out very, very well for them. The Orisa was kind of a mixed bag, in my opinion, into that Ramatra, because either you were trying to take away a little bit too much space and put yourself in bad position where you saw the rest of your team die before you, or you just didn't necessarily find all the value you're truly looking for here. Maybe something like a Winston or a Diva, because that has been something that we have seen Bowling Green, especially on that last map, try to play a little bit.
Yep, and I think they got some value from playing, I think, that Diva from those from one of their engages, really creating that space and disruption. So I think that you are correct that maybe that might have been the better ban, but I think it is the just stronger point presence that a tank like an Orisa can do is what might be stopping, is what might be controlling their decision. But substitutions are coming in from the side of BGSU after Chicken had done such a great job playing the Ana, the Kiriko. They have now brought back in Jimbo to play as the other support, and if there's one thing I'm thinking, it might be a comfort hero more than anything, and they want to play that Juno.
Potentially here, but I mean, we're going to see what the teams are kind of gonna be coming out with here. I imagine that we're gonna see the Queen from BGSU. I feel like I said, this is a good map for the Drunken Queen. Find a lot of value here. But on the other side, Jade Eagles, the Ramatra not banned, meaning you could play that here again, and it did definitely give Bowling Green a lot of problems there. And it was only about 2 or 3 fights where they were able to shut you down, but that was because they invested ultimates heavily into them.
Exactly, that is correct. You've hit the the head on the nail for that, because the Ramatra, ABNMR did so spectacular in that, really creating and just really waiting also when to use the ultimate, because I've seen some of the turning points of it is ABNMR just really waiting for another ultimate from the side of BGSU to finally expand itself, or another major cooldown had already been expanded, and then finally use it. It always seems to be more of a cleanup rather than an engagement, and I think it has done wonders for the side of Jade Eagles. So now it's a matter of figuring out if that's how they want to continue playing.
Absolutely, but much like the alpacas on the last map, Orange definitely has all the ducks on this map hard cammed here. So we'll zoom into this one, but I believe there's 8 or 9 ducks on this map that Orange does have a cam set up for. But as we are going to be able to see the teams load in here in a brief moment, wow, Ryan coming out from Jade Eagles, that's a little bit of a surprise for me. I really thought we would have been seeing the Ramatra come back out.
I think a lot of this is maybe just an answer to maybe Fatal Turtle, who is very aggressive, wants to play that Junker Queen, has got an immense value, but you want something that they swing in, wall in with that mate, and create some level of disruption. So that might be just the added value of it. And the charge in, displacement gets a pin, there we go, da-da-da-da-doom, hope you get that team.
I mean, Fatal actually be able to stay alive here. Instead, it could be ABNMR there. It gets taken out. Not necessarily what you were looking for there, especially since you were about 1 swing away from getting rid of the Queen on the other side. Jade Eagles, though, looking like they might be able to cap the point up here first, but looks like they all get off the point. Bowling Green now starting to get something going here. Joker going to be able to try out their counterpart on the other side here, but this fight's all but over right now. You're just trying to maybe get a lucky pick here into the Jade Eagles.
I think the unfortunate part of that maybe engagement from Jade Eagles was, I think ABNMR, when he charged in, really didn't have the backup from his respective teammates when going in, because he got that team immensely low, especially with that charge. A lot of it has just to be with the follow-up, and it might have just been hard for them for the rest of the team to re-engage and capitalize on it. But they do have a Kiriko rush for this next fight, and a cold essence of Hero Wolf from the side of BGSU. So a lot of this is going to be who is engaging with it and who's going to get more immense value from it. And I personally think it might actually be the rush.
The Rampage comes out, but oh, it gets cleansed just like that. Nothing's going to come from it right there. Instead, to be Joker falling first, the Blizzard coming out from Alex, and the Kitsune Rush coming out from Whacking here. Jade Eagles, they want this fight, and they want it bad. Bowling Green still kind of keeping a little bit of point presence here. Kira Wolf investing the Coalescence here. First time we're actually not seeing them come out of the gate on the Mercy there. We'll come out on the Moira. They've done really good so far tonight when they play that Moira.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it might just be the fact that they want Jimbo on this Lucio for that extra speed. So Kira has to play something that they are more comfortable with, and they have shown that very solid comfort on Moira. So great job on them, at least for being able to flex out of the Mercy, but not really great for the Coalescence having lost it. Shatter committed, gets on the Queen, and that's honestly him as value.
I mean, it hits the Queen, the Blizzard coming out, the Ice Wall from Alex kind of denying a lot more value that could have come from that there, but you got rid of Fatal. I think if you're Jade Eagles, yeah, you would have liked a little bit more, but hey, you got rid of the tank.
You also got rid of May Blizzard, so that means that there's nothing that they can use to push point, contest it, right, and have to figure out how to re-engage with this, especially with only a Blossom and a Beat. So it might be a Beat engage at this rate, or a Blossom in a very tiny room.
Well, speaking of Beat and Blossom, they're both coming out here from Bowling Green, and they are struggling to find anything at the moment. However, Ember pops their own Blossom, going to be able to find one of the Beat coming out from Conk here. Jade Eagles, I mean, they're looking like they're going to clean up this fight and take our first point here on New Junk City.
Yeah, lots of back and forth between these two teams for their ultimates, but at the end of the day, if I were BGSU, I wish Kira Wolf had that Coalescence in that previous fight, because that might have been a very solid first engage answer instead, right? We've talked about how maybe a Coalescence is better used to sustain through a fight, but sometimes you do need it to just push through, because that does a lot of immense damage, especially if you're funneling through a choke. Jade Eagles now have a Kiriko Rush, and that's what's going to be at least able to keep the point alive if BGSU decide to push through with it. Or they could at least just use it for a dry fight right now. Don't use it and wait for a really opportune moment to pincer maybe the team of BGSU.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Bowling Green to get anything going here just because of how they're playing, especially with the way they're coming in. A lot of Jade's team here can find a lot of value, especially playing in close quarters. ABM and R are going to be able to find one. Embers find a second one. Yeah, you trade out the tank. Blizzard coming out. The Rampage coming out from Fatal. I think that was to try to get them out of the Blizzard, but they still will freeze all the same, and that's an ultimate you want back if you're Bowling Green.
Yeah, that's very expensive for Bowling Green, right? You want that for that next fight. Like, after Whacking already had to use maybe a Suzu, and especially when there's no Lucio beat to at least counter it, right? Alex at least managing to force that out with that Blizzard. I think that is a very economical fight for Jade Eagles for that trade, right? At least canceled something that's going to be a pain in the rear end for Jade Eagles, but Blizzard already online again for BGSU.
And they have an opportunity to use it here, but the Shatter this time will find 3 and all but Jimbo at the moment have fallen down. This fight already all but over. Bowling Green trying to just get anything here, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to. Bowling Green, one more attempt on point C here to try to take it.
Yeah, one more point, and at least you have a Blizzard to work with this time and maybe a beat. So something like maybe an aggressive engage might be the answer, because using a beat to at least deal with Reaper Blossom may be a hit or a miss. So if I am Jade Eagles, I think what I want to do at least is to be aggressive with one of these ultimates. Maybe that Reaper Blossom or maybe that Rush. Especially now that BGSU have committed with the Blizzard.
I mean, they land on 2, but that beat from Conk gonna be able to keep both of them alive. Conk though will die. Death Blossom from Embers, it finds 3. Embers with 4, make it 5. It's the ace for the Reaper for Jade Eagles, and point 2 going over to them as well.
That was disgusting from the side of Embers, capitalizing on that chaos and even that counter pin from ABNMR, because I think that counter pin honestly is what created that opening also for Jade Eagles, because there was nothing really to protect BGSU from a Blossom even just for a bit. Because if I were, for example, Jimbo on that Lucio, I would at least want my Ryan still up when I'm beating, at least just so that I can at least cast it effectively. But hey, they have it for this next fight and at least can engage with it, especially with Jade Eagles only having a Blizzard to work with. But with both Lucios down, this is gonna be dicey.
If you do lose ABMR for Jade Eagles, and especially with Fatal now going over to the Ryan here, you're finding a little bit more value. Bowling Green going to be able to cap the point for the first time here since back at the first point. But you need to clean up these couple picks here, or these last couple remaining stragglers. You're going to be able to do that, and now you can kind of sit back and relax, catch your breath here, and look at the ultimates they're coming up to.
Yep, BGSU having at least 2 already online, making that 3 very closely if Fatal Turtle can get those massive swings. And they have been getting a lot of value from those swings and those fire strikes. So if I am Jade Eagles, I want to take this as as much of a dry fight as possible. Maybe slow down the tempo a bit, bait out a cooldown, or maybe bait out the ult and create that pincer. But Fresh already switching to a Tracer to be a bit more of a nuisance in the backline.
Blizzard coming out, not going to catch anyone right there, but I say sayonara to ABMR right there, as Fatal going to be able to knock him off. Whacking will trade it out there though, so they're kind of keeping themselves in this fight, but Trade just continuing to go back and forth here. Jade Eagles looking to try to cap the point. Pulse Bomb not going to be able to find anything there from Fresh. Fatal, oh, they use Shatter there. That's something you definitely want back, especially as you just gave up the point.
Yep, you gave up the point, and if there was one thing that happened through all that chaos, I thought Jade Eagles were going to just go back and reset after losing ABNMR to Fatal X Turtle, but no, the support line of Jade Eagles just said, now we're sticking in and we're getting these picks, and exactly what they did. BGSU though, you have 3 ultimates to work with. Maybe engage with that Coalescence once Kira Wolf gets back, because you definitely need that to push through this more of a chaotic choke. Jade Eagles, probably the same thing, or at least hold on to that until you're at an angle to at least engage in maybe a space you want to be in. They managed to scat out Embers.
Yeah, Embers going to have to rotate back to the safety of their team, but now they're being punched out by Fresh here. Beats ready for both sides. Shatter from ABMR will find 2 right there. It's canceled out. Kira's Coalescence. 1 huge ultimate gone. Embers, though, taken out here early on. Alex will be able to find a trade there. ABMR going to be able to find out Joker, so no Blossom. The beat invested here by Jade Eagles. We've seen this in the past when they do not care if they're down numbers here. They will invest into fights, almost getting the pin there on the Fatal Turtle. But now overtime commences here on our 3rd point. Whacking now. Trying to do what they can as that Consumer Rush goes away. ABMR going to be just pushed off the map right there. Now you're seeing BGSU find a couple cleanup kills here. They should get this way. No. Embers finds 2. Mr. Joker going to take him out right there. Alex, this is going to be a long shot for them to win, but no, they're going to get booped off, and this should be Bowling Green clawing their way back into this map here, keeping it alive.
Jade Eagles tried to make a play with that, and, honestly, that pick onto, Fatal External for one of those would have been, a sealed deal, but Embers really, with that Blossom, might have changed everything. Just dies a little bit in the end. No support's really there to keep them up. So great job of BGSU for capitalizing that and turning things around just a bit. But we now have to take the point from Jade Eagles, who have already situated themselves in it a bit. And with that pick on the Kira Wolf, that makes things much harder.
Oh, the Blizzard. Oh, I thought some Blizzard coming out there from Alex, but no, they don't have it just yet. Whacking will trade it back out though. So Jade Eagles do have a slight advantage here at the moment, but still, each team gonna fight here. But the Death Blossom coming out from Joker, gonna be able to find 2 Fatal charged off the map. ABMR gonna be able to find Joker there, and that slight mistake by Fatal could allow Jade Eagles to cap the point here first.
Yep, and for Jade Eagles, I think what your saving grace is through all of that is I don't think any ultimates were used. So you're walking into this with a Blizzard, with a Shatter, some things that could at least control a choke and prevent an engage. And if I'm BGSU, that's kind of hard. Like, you don't have anything else to really answer it besides a Shatter of your own, and that's an aggressive engage from Jade Eagles.
Blizzard comes out, the Shadow will be able to land on the 2, make it 3 right there. Joker gonna be able to find 1 right there, the pin. Whacking though, gonna be able to take out Fatal right there, but Whacking will be traded right back out. BGSU has taken the point, and they won the fight to boot. However, you do look at Jade Eagles here. They did invest the Blizzard, but that was all they invested there.
Yeah, and in the process of that also, BGSU had used that Shatter. So if I am Fatal Turtle, my job right now is to make sure that this Shatter of ABNMR doesn't really get any massive value, but no, they would rather...
Oh no, we had a fat finger beat!
Finger moment!
Oh no!
Oh man, that's unfortunate, but fight still goes on. Whacking already down, so that's not great for Jade Eagles.
Shatter goes right into the shield there. Kira gonna pop their own Coalescence. Not gonna be able to find anyone with it just yet, but Jimbo and Fresh picking up the slack here, finding a couple kills. BGSU still holding on to the point at the moment. ABMR gonna be taken out there by Jimbo, who I believe found 3 that engagement.
Yep, and 3 of that is just enough to get that beat online. But if I am Jade Eagles, I don't think anyone is going to be able to touch. So this is going to be a do or die situation, possibly on that last point. If I am Jade Eagles, I probably wouldn't want to engage on this with an ultimate or with those cooldowns. That doesn't look completely great.
You do force the beat out here though from Bowling Green, so even if you lose this fight for Jade Eagles, actually no, they definitely want to try to win this fight here. Embers will find Kira Wolf there. Fatal though gonna fall as well. Embers, I mean, they have picked up the slack here a lot this map as well. Death Blossom though from Joker gonna be able to find Embers right back, but that's gonna be the only thing they find. ABMR just gonna try to spin around the point, see if they can find anyone there. Oh, Joker just gonna be able to keep themselves alive, and hey, find Conk there. Alex will trade it out there, but BGSU, I mean, the numbers are coming back, and you're still investing here. If you're Jade Eagles, you have to find this pick right now. If you're Alex, if you don't, it could be devastating, especially since Bowling Green is still holding on to the point. Blizzard invested here now. Jade Eagles, they want to win this point back badly, but they're struggling to just get all the Falcons off of it.
Yep, and with that focus fire onto Alex that has gone dead, and thus said, I think they should be turning over to the side of BGSU if they can get ABNMR to not get the value, but apparently they managed, Jade Eagles managed to turn things around. The chaos is still there. Hawk trying to fight things on that high ground, managed to die from the swing of Fatal Turtle, and that pin might be the stealing deal for ABNMR.
Wait, Jade Eagles are finding more picks there. Yeah, Fatal's still alive, but it doesn't necessarily matter. They're the only one there. Shatter comes out and it doesn't find anyone. Pulse Bomb as well, just the floor. This has been a point of all time here. It should have been over a long time ago, but Jade Eagles, they forced overtime here. They're still holding on to the point and still throwing numbers, beat out by Conk. Same thing with Mines. Fatal gonna be taken out here now. It's gonna be very difficult for anyone from Bowling Green to get back in. The TB, AB, NMR gonna be able to find Jimbo there, but how long can these DPS survive here for the Falcons? Not very long if you're Joker. The recall invested there by Fresh, but they blink into a mine, and somehow, some way, the Jade Eagles will take this point and take the map.
I don't know about you, Dex, but a lot of things that happened there should not have happened to begin with. But somehow these teams turning it around, making it work, and even with the whiffs from ultimates left and right, I think that just added some flavor to that last map and turned things around. Embers, though, did pop off with that Reaper this match, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if BGSU banned that for the next map.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but that last point, that last point was a nightmare. There, I mean, give it up to Jade Eagles. They were resilient. Bowling Green, they were resilient as well. Like you said, there should have been, there was at least 5 or 6 times that point should have ended. We should have been going to a 0.5 on New Junk City, but no. Jade Eagles, they just said, no, we're going to fight this fight as long as we can, and they did a really good job with it, putting them on to series point here, heading into our 5th map, Thor. We're not that far away from a map 6 here, Shambali, though. Gonna be the difference maker here on this escort map.
Exactly. This is going to be all now on Jade Eagles to just shut it out here, make this, a clean end to maybe this match series, but it is Shambali Monastery. It is those long sightlines, those high grounds. So at the end of the day, if you're someone who has a player that likes playing Mercy and a really solid hit scan, a map like Shambali Monastery just enables that completely. So this is going to be a question of now, what is Jade Eagles going to ban in this scenario, knowing that BGSU have such a solid, Mercy player with also just a solid hit scan player in the form of Fresh. So it'll be interesting to see what Jade Eagles plans to ban. But if there's anything we know from these two teams, anything's on the table, especially with that last round of Flashpoint.
Well, Bowling Green's gonna be the first one to ban here, and you really have to start questioning, what do you ban here? You could ban ball. It definitely does seem like that Jade Eagles liked playing the ball there. Kind of won them that last map a little bit. But, I mean, that DPS line, the support line, there's a lot of good options here for Bowling Green. They have to make the right one, though, because their backs are against the wall now.
Yeah, and if I just look at maybe what tanks Jade Eagles tank is really good at, I feel like the Ram might just be the answer, and that's exactly what BGSU have decided to ban, because if there's something that I at least noticed from these plays is that as much as there was some level of comfort by ABNMR playing that wrecking ball, it sometimes felt like they weren't as coordinated with their teammates in those slams, in those engagements, not really getting as much value as they like, compared to when they were playing the Ramatra on Runa Sapi that allowed them to continue the fights, really playing in with the walls of Alex. So that is honestly a great pick by BGSU to ban the Ramatra in the end. Force maybe Jade Eagles to something a bit more uncomfortable. Now, I've already mentioned what Jade Eagles may consider banning, but I think knowing that, as you said, maybe Kira Wolf is someone who prefers just playing something like a Mercy and a Moira, you're already kind of telegraphed what they might play for that. So maybe it might be easier to just ban something that, their flex support who's more flexible, might actually lean to and might be played better on something like Shambali, like maybe an Ana on that high ground.
Yeah, I mean, the Ana could find a lot of value here on the first point, but as you go on in this map, I feel like it starts to lose its value a little bit, especially on the defensive side here. Jade Eagles, though, their ban should be in here momentarily, and it is going to be the Ana. I mean, I get it. Like I said, the first point defense, you can find a lot of value with it. Second point defense as well, especially if they push it all the way up the hill. You can find the long sidelines. But as it kind of goes on, I feel like the Ana does start to lose a little bit of its muster here on this map. But Jade Eagles banning it out here. I don't think we're having a sub come back in here of barbecue chicken, so it will be Jimbo. But I mean, the flex support here for BGSU has been pretty solid all night long.
Yep, I think if there's one thing that this BGSU team at least has down to a pat in terms of flexibility is that their flex supports really can play a variety of flex supports, and even someone like Jimbo actually flex over to Idusho should they need that speed. So I think that's what works in favor with maybe the support line of BGSU. So it's now a question of, with this Ana ban at the end of the day, what are BGSU then planning to lean into? Because they have at least shown that they want to play this on a Mercy. So are we now forcing them to play something like a Juno Mercy again? Or maybe this Kiriko Mercy? Because that might be something that will be teased or shown. Or maybe we actually see Kira Wolf walk out this time on maybe a Moira and Jimbo on that Susho. Because they at least saw some success with it on New Junk City.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something we could see. I would not be surprised, though, if Kira Wolf, if she decides to stay on that Moira. I mean, the Mercy, like you said, does find some value here, especially if you have one of those, your hit scan DPS kind of playing, one of those ones, whether it be the Ashe, the Widow, the Hanzo here, Cass, even something like a Torp. I mean, damage boosted Torp does find a lot of value, and you did see Fresh right there. Their hero they have in that was the Torp, but no, coming out the gate, I was going to say, Hog was very, very... Thor, I'm gonna let you take over here.
Okay, so the analysis with a Hog character, right, in these kinds of compositions is you're looking for that pick potential. But I think part of this also really is you're hoping to maybe potentially take angles one way or another. So if you have something like ABNMR, there's no Ana, which makes things easier, right? Nothing to anti that Hog. So you're able to potentially maybe melt a monkey if it dives on the core, right? You're able to maybe hook a Mercy who's constantly being, a pest in the air along with the Juno. So I think that's a pretty good play, but this is going to be a lot on Jade Eagles really hiding the fact they have a Hog first, and then getting that immense value.
Well, I like Fatal going over here to the Winston, but they're going to have to get themselves out here. Already the second trap thrown down will be triggered out, but right now, Bowling Green, I mean, I like the start from them. They know what everyone's playing on the other side. The Suzu already invested there by whacking Embers very low here. I think Bowling Green, I mean, if they get a fast start here, Jade Eagles will have to make swaps almost immediately. Another dodge coming out here from Fatal. There goes one, and now as you lose that Juno, the dominoes have already started to fall here for the Jade Eagles.
Yep, the dominoes have fallen, but with both Junos out of commission for both of these teams, it's a matter of getting picks, and Whacking has gotten 2 of those picks. They are just a Kiriko, and even though with that Juno up, the Mercy's gone. So I think there's still amount of cleanup that can be done with Fatal just trying to get this Ashe at the end of the day, and Alex trying to live with their life. Juno's still alive on the side of Jade Eagles. I personally think Jade Eagles have been holding this decently well. If they can get Fatal Turtle outdone, dusted, dead, and Alex, please, you should have left that area a long time ago.
Yeah, they really should have. Fatal, they're going to be able to find Alex, though, but we'll be traded right back out. And like you said, I'm surprised by how resilient Jade Eagles were in that fight. I really thought once they lost Conk, it was all but over, and you let Fatal get res back into this one here. That's not what you wanted to do, and that Tesla cannon in a small room, yeah, it acts like a shotgun. Primal Rage now coming out, Whacking not going to be able to escape it this time around. Hook going to be able to keep Fatal right there, but if you're ABNMR, you might have not wanted to do that one. Your healer can only do so much. Fatal, though, going to be able to help Fresh find one, and then they find Alex back out again. I mean, a good start for the Jade Eagles. Resilient as always, but they could not let Kira get that res off.
No, Kira should not have gotten that res off. That body was not monitored or watched by that team, especially when I think ABNMR already had left that point. And Fatal already Turtle trying to deny that window area, and hey, if there's one thing that Jade Eagles has in their favors, they now have this Bob and both support ultimates to work with. And for BGSU, they've already used the Primal, so there's nothing really to keep the monkey up once he's down.
Bob coming out here from Alex, getting go straight to that back line. It's actually going to be very difficult for BGSU to kind of play around it. A whole hog coming out as well. It's just pushing everyone back into the Bob as you see Alex the Bob already finding 3 out here whacking, getting their name in that kill feed. They have to get their 1, but a good hold here by Jade Eagles. They needed it just to regroup. And Mr. Joker, yeah, I would be hiding too.
Yeah, I would be hiding too, especially with a hog hook that could just melt you in the air whatsoever. And what we're at least seeing is that these Jade Eagles still have both of their support ultimates, so that's something that could at least counter or at least manage with the support ultimates that are coming in for BGSU. So if Jade Eagles can get another pick alongside it, maybe that might force them to not use their ultimates, or both support ultimates, as excessively, but they are going to engage with it.
Sprays coming up from both sides. Continue rush out as well from Jade Eagles. Blade from Mr. Joker. They're just slicing at air at the moment. Eventually, though, you will find one there as they get with a whacking overclock coming out from Embers to try to reset this fight a little bit, but no, it's going to be Fatal finding Conk. Embers going to be able to find Joker somehow, some way right there. Still very low. Eventually, Fresh be able to take him out, and if you're Bowling Green, oh, that pick right there might just seal the deal for the second point.
Yeah, Cog switching over now to this Lucio, realizing that maybe I think the answer at the end of the day is something a bit more chaotic, and what is more chaotic than anything else but a wrecking ball. So I think the fact that there is not much of a hook value, I think everyone else is surviving is making things difficult. So stall potential online for Jade Eagles, but what's online is 2 ultimates from BGSU, especially with that overclock.
Yeah, especially with all the swaps that came out from Jade Eagles as well. The overclock and the Primal Rage already out here from Bowling Green. I mean, ABNMR doing a good job just kind of stalling out the cart here, but at some point, you're just going to end up losing this fight because of the ultimates that BGSU invested. Fresh finding 3. Fatal going to take away that 4th one right there, and Joker finds the 5th one. Point 2. Capped here for Bowling Green. 3 minutes, 45 seconds on the clock. Thor, that's a really healthy time bank for them.
What is a healthy time bank for anything, Shambali? Let's be real. You should be able to at least... If you are unable to hold a team for far more longer on that second point, that just spells disaster for this third, especially as it's harder to defend this 3rd point of Shambali, so especially with where these teams can rotate and hide, with already the monkey of BGSU trying to scout out the left side, and with Kong finally down, that's just an opening to come in for BGSU, and that's exactly what they are doing.
DPS line starting to pop off here for Bowling Green, already finding 3 right there as Fresh picks up whacking. The DMAC going to come out on the ABMR right there, and it looks like they're going to let them get back to safety of their spawn, so they're going to mech back here pretty quickly. Actually, no, yeah, no, they're going right back to that Diva. Embers will slow down Joker here for a moment, but Bowling Green, I mean, pedal to the metal so far. Jade Eagles really struggling to find any response. You have to keep Conk alive here. That Suzu will be able to save them here, and it looks like Bowling Green going to fall back here for a brief moment.
Yep, that's exactly what they need to do, and now with your Juno down, I think that's the best way to hide it out. No rezzing from the side of Kira Wolf, that is way too ambitious. So I think for them, it's denying any of this continued push with a jump already committed by Fail X Turtle. They need to go back to spawn, not push in any further. Don't hide in these tiny mega mini rooms to get your HP back. Just wait for your Juno to come in and re-engage, especially when they have both support ultimates.
All support ultimates coming out here, whacking and respond with one of their own. Here comes a Blade from Joker, so 3 ultimates invested here for Bowling Green, and you have yet to find anything. Now you see the Death Blossom come out, and that's just a bad fight there for Bowling Green. You had 3 ultimates invested, and those ultimates should have won you the fight. However, you lost out to a Consuming Rush and a Death Blossom.
Yep, and even that Death Blossom was pretty late on in that fight. I think at the end of the day, Mr. Joker wasn't really just enabled through the Kiriko rush, right? They were trying to get that Kiriko, they were trying to get another person, but it seemed like they weren't as enabled, and a Blizzard is committed by Alex to stop this push even further.
No one getting frozen up just yet right now for Jade Eagles. Cole Left coming out from Conk as well, trying to keep ABMR alive as long as they can. They don't want that mech going down so soon here, but Bowling Green, they're struggling to find anyone just yet. That's been something that's kind of fallen off for them here lately, but finding Embers, finding Conk, yes, this is exactly what you needed to do here. You do lose Fatal, and now though, you're just trying to find that next pick. Joker trying to follow up here onto Alex, but Alex doing everything they can to keep themselves alive. Kira, hey, it's been a while since we've seen a Raz gets Fatal back in this one here. Bomb coming out, but it's gonna be bubbled.
Yeah, bubble great from the side of Fatal Turtle, and that allows him to re-engage Alex as far as to cruise the cryo, and they're trying to melt out Fatal Turtle in the process and manage to do so in the process. Is this looking like a solid hold from Jade Eagles as they continue pushing towards the spawn of BGSU, but if I were them, I would just hold this corner, right? You don't want to overextend and give them a chance to push that card to full. BGSU, you have that overclock. And if I am everyone else on the team, it really is going to have to enable that to get value, whether that's Kira sticking on to Fresh throughout the whole engagement of it, or at least diving in coordination.
Alex gonna be able to find Fatal out here early, and if you're bowling green, that should just be your sign to back out here. Don't want to see anyone else staggered out here. Jimbo, looking at them right now, gonna be able to keep them alive, but Fatal, they're getting off of that. Winston, they're now going to the Rhine. It's a desperation pick here for them.
That is a desperation pick. What's desperate is also who is going to touch. It's going to have to be Joker at the end of the day as this pick goes down. No, it's just so Fresh sliding in. Might be able to get a pick. No, it's just being denied by the DM.
Ember's finding 2. Blizzard coming out here from Alex. Jade, Eagles, they're doing everything here to stop this car. Valkyrie gonna get a touch right there from Kira, but I don't think anyone else is gonna be able to get back in time and give it up to the Jade Eagles. Like we've said, a resilient team locks in on that 3rd-point push to not allow Bowling Green to full cap the map. Thor, they've given themselves a winning condition, not only in this map, but in the series.
Exactly, but I think it is still a winning condition that BGSU should be able or has a chance to hold, because that cart was pushed significantly up on that 3rd point, and Jade Eagles is going to have to do that all over again for, in order to at least lock out this final map if they are able to do so. I personally think the Hog initially was a bit skeptical, managed to get some value in it. I think at some point it really just wasn't able to when they figured out who the target focus should be. So now they're rolling out on, at least what we see is a more traditional rushier kind of composition, whereas BGSU Falcons really leaning in towards the poker type of gameplay that they want to play, with Fresh still sticking on this Ashe character and with a Sig to enable it and prevent any aggressive dives. I think that's the play, but I think if they're expecting a dive, that might not be what they're getting. They're going to be rushed on.
Yeah, and you look at this again. Alex coming back out on the Hanzo. We saw this a little bit on King's Row where they're able to provide a couple early picks. Yeah, Kira was able to res him here, but just that pressure from that Hanzo might be enough here. Fresh though, back on the Ashe, where again, back on King's Row, did really, really good, just slowing anyone for Jade Eagles down, at least poking their heads out.
Yep, exactly, and that pressure on main from Alex allows for everyone else on Jade Eagles to push up.
Nice knife stick there, gonna be able to pull Fatal in. Joker looking a little bit worse for wear, but Ember's gonna be the first one to fall here by who else but Joker right there. Now, if you're Jade Eagles, you're just trying to find this next pick. However, you're not finding anything. Instead, half your team is already finding the spawn here. Alex just trying to push the card up as much as they can, but it's not gonna be enough.
Yep, and I think that's not bad of a place for that cart to turn, because I think pushing the cart to that area at least allows you to push from different angles now, right? You can take it from that high, you can contest that high ground, you can contest it through main, you can also go through that left room, and they know that Embers is like camping there if they're able to pressure him out, and exactly what they do. But he is now on their side, and that's going to allow for a pincer once it's called out by ABN and Mar, and it looks like that is what they're setting up for. It's just a matter of doing it right away before, BGSU create an opening and push up themselves.
And Jade Eagles is trying to get something going here. Fatal Turtle looking a little bit low and a little bit too low there. Whacking gonna be able to find them, picking up right where they left off from last round, finding a nice early pick there. That should be able to help their team out immensely. Ember's following it up, and now you see the Jade Eagles just cleaning it up. 3 members, 1 member on the card at the moment, but really should be 2.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to get these supports at the end of the day, trying to get a few less set of staggers. And if I am the support line of BGSU, I'm just going to hightail it out and wait for everyone to regroup. If I am Jade Eagles, though, I would like 1 more person on that card for it to move a bit faster, and that's exactly what everyone else is doing. Ultimates to work with, High Noon and Valkyrie, and I think you need that Valkyrie to re-engage.
Oh, and Alex gonna be able to keep this alive here. Dragon coming out. This is gonna be something very scary. Deadeye coming out as well, and finds 2. Alex had a great opportunity on not 1, but 2 tries to get rid of that. It's a huge mistake there. Rampage coming out from ABMR. They still believe they're very much in this fight. They're gonna be able to find Fatal there. And now if they can get rid of Kira, they're gonna be able to do that. Can they find Joker out as well? Jimbo's still alive here and on point. ABMR doing God's work here, but sometimes it's just not enough.
Yeah, no, but Jimbo's the only one left, so that allows everyone else from Jade Eagles to just go in, because at the end of the day, ABNR Marja had used that Queen ult and got immense value. They managed to whittle down 3 other people on the side of BGSU before they finally died to, the last person on the team left. And by then, everyone else from Jade Eagles had been coming back to spawn. So great job on them, and they have 3 ultimates to work with as they walk into what might be a Orbital Ray and a Flux. So Monk needs to stay alive just to deal with that Flux.
And right now, I like how Bowling Green's playing this, giving some space, because the Sooners coming out here from whacking, the response is going to be the Flux, but they whip on it there. Death Blossom in the backline from Embers finds 2. Looking for a 3rd one. They're going to be able to find with some help from their tank. And this is just the cleanup crew yet again for the Jade Eagles. Exactly what you were hoping for here. And this should be point 2 going their way, but finding Fresh would help it out a lot more.
Yeah, stagger on Fresh would be great. Whacking, clearing it up, helping Embers get it. And if I am Jade Eagles, I will take that stagger. That is their high source of damage finally out of the game, and their BGS are forced to play and push into this as just 4, and Jade Eagles just caps it.
4 minutes, 20 seconds here to get 80 meters right now if you're the Jade Eagles. Bowling Green, you're still holding on to that orbital ray, but there's a beat on the other side to cancel it out here. Now, though, Jade Eagles, they're going to play very, very safe here. Bowling Green, you have to play even safer, and any overextension could mean the end of this map. The Rampage, though, going to be able to get rid of Mr. Jerk with some help from Alex's Dragons. Whackings finds Kira, and oh, Fresh, you are backing yourself into a corner. Yeah, you lose ABMR here, but you're getting decent amount of progress here on this push.
They're getting decent amount of progress, and it's just the Ryan and the Juno left with a shield barely alive. Fresh is going to come back. There's 3 ultimates for BGSU to work with. They can at least use any of these to slow down this push, as Jade Eagles only has a beat, but with the picks going on their way, this isn't looking great for them.
Speed coming out to counter out that orbital ray. Fresh popping their overclock, not gonna be able to find anything. Embers has another Death Blossom. It might be the thing that seals the deal here, and yes, it is. Jade Eagles gonna be able to take our series in 5. Bowling Green, they put up a hell of a fight, but we saw it there on New Junk City. This Jade Eagle squad is resilient. They're not afraid to invest ultimates into fights that sometimes look all but done, and they come out on top somehow, some way.
A great job for the side of, Jade Eagles for turning things around, but it honestly looked dicey for them at the start. They really clawed their way back up to that 3-1 scoreline, right? They did take that first one. They kind of got it back by at least putting it to a draw with King's Row. So at the end of the day, this 3-1 score really is a hard work of turning things around, right? For those who have dropped by at the end of the day, this is a 3-1 with a draw, right? So Jade Eagles, it felt like a reverse sweep if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. It really did. I mean, if you go back to King's Row, they were the ones that were attacking first in overtime. They got full held, and they had to play a perfect defense there in that second round of overtime to get the draw. And ever since that point, you saw a completely different team getting the 3 straight maps there for them. I mean, this was a great performance for Jade Eagles, but Bowling Green, I mean, this isn't a win for them in the standings, but you played a lot better tonight. You have to kind of look at this as a little bit of a stepping stone for you going into the last game before our midseason break.
Yes, exactly. A lot of it is just going to be the fact that you know what your players are good at and what they should play to enable them.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to throw it over to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have an interview with someone from the Jade Eagles. Everyone, stick around. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are pleased to be joined by not one, but two members from the victors here tonight of the Jade Eagles. We are joined by Alex and Conk. Hey, guys, congratulations on the win here tonight. Getting back into those winning ways here against another good collegiate team here. What was kind of the thought process going on throughout this entire series where it almost went the distance plus one extra map?
Alex, you want to go first?
Yeah. So
I want to hear your thoughts.
We were on the first map. We were not really locked in, and we weren't really focused, and we didn't expect. I don't know what they were running, but as soon as we got the draw on a King's Row, I think we started to really, that kind of gave us like the boost, and we were really popping off afterwards.
In my opinion, I'd like to compare it to something. I think every time we scrim or we play games, typically we always have one buffer game to where we're figuring out how teams work and trying to get into it, and we just slowly adapt to it. And I think it took us a little bit, kind of halfway through that King's Row game was when it finally clicked correctly. And I'm really, really proud of our team for pulling through and making sure that we didn't screw up at any other places, and we all played really well out of our minds, I think.
Definitely, as us casters, like, we saw this great gameplay from your team, especially I think that last fight, I think on New Junk City, where we really thought you might have been, we might be seeing round 5, 0.5 on that one, but you guys came through with that. So what was the thought process in that given moment? Because it seemed like you guys just didn't want to give it up. What was the game plan at that given moment when the percentage was ticking down on that last point?
Yeah, you're talking about New Junk City, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that one, it might have been a little bit on me because I accidentally beat it. I fat fingered coming out of spawn, and I was like, oh crap. But at that point, Alex and I think Whacking were already at point, and we're like, okay, we can work with it. Let's just do it. And thanks to our tank swapping to ball last second and his amazing gameplay on ball, we were able to kind of clutch it up. And even though we were constantly staggering in, I think the fact that we built our ults incredibly quickly, and we were able to use them, and I even got a second beat off, so I redeemed myself, hopefully. I think mainly because every time we fight, we don't give up until like we know 100% it's over. We're not just going to give up because, it's overtime. Cool.
No, I think that's a great mindset that, is for players to have, like, that level of resiliency. And I think tied with that resiliency that you guys had was really, you did mention how you always need that maybe one map to kind of warm up, figure out what the enemy team likes to play, how they like to play. So what was that one thing that helped it click things together for the team in King's Row that said, hey, I think we figured out how BGSU wants to play, and this is how we should deal with it?
So on King's Row, when we were first defending, we were kind of getting destroyed, and like they were pushing up heavily. I guess the thing that kind of clicked is like this, right after the round, I guess, finished on defense, we were like saying, hey, we need to lock in, and that's when we were kind of pushing for the draw because our attack on overtime was not very good at all, and we were like, hey, we can still get the draw, and like I said, our resilience, I feel like, is really, really good. So yeah.
I think I had another moment that I was thinking of, specifically on attack leading up to that second checkpoint. I remember talking with my tank. I'm like, hey, can we just? I'm gonna use beat, and I'm just gonna speed past them. We go jump on their Ana and Kiri, and right at that moment, I think the rest of the team was like, hey, maybe we can't play to kill the tank or kill the DPS, and we just need to go get on their supports as fast as we can.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And it creates more opportunities for us.
Yeah, it definitely did throughout that series. But guys, looking ahead now, 2-1 on the season. Going into next week, the final week before our midseason playoffs could start, the introduction of perks. Are you going to try to carry this momentum along here, try to build upon it? Or are you guys just kind of looking to steadily keep on improving here before we get to that midseason break?
I personally think that we just need to keep going. I want a rematch against Solar. We almost, it was a really close game. It was a 3-0, but every fight was so close. I think a rematch, and we got it that time.
Yeah, and I think perks are going to be, it's gonna be very difficult actually to get adjusted to it, and like it's gonna be really different for sure. But a lot of us play comp in general, so I think it should be good. Yeah, hopefully we can keep doing well. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your night. But before we let you go, we want to give you the floor right now to shout out anyone or anything you guys want.
Alex, you want to go first?
I think no, I don't have anything. I think you should.
Okay, I just want to shout out. I've seen in the Twitch chat, I've got a few of my buddies watching, specifically Melodica, and I think earlier it was the Killer or whatever. They're two of my friends that are watching. I know one other's there. I know Verduk's watching, but he hasn't said anything. So I just want to shout out them.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much again. That is Alex and Conk here, members of the Jade Eagles. Hey, they were our victors tonight. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking some time out of your night. Go celebrate with the rest of your team now.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. All right, Thor. An incredible series here tonight. We at times definitely were thinking like, oh God, we're going to 6 here. We would have been the first series of the season probably to go to 6, especially on stream. But Jade Eagles, I mean, they turned it up when they absolutely needed to. Bowling Green, though, gave them a tough battle here tonight. And honestly, like what they just said about Solar, Bowling Green, if they could run it back, they probably feel very confident they could probably take it to the Jade Eagles.
Exactly. And I think if they do run it back, a lot of it is going to be maybe something along the lines of identifying what hero bands to do to change things up, because I feel like there were so many shining moments from BGSU, and it just so happened that maybe there was a hero on the side of Jade Eagles that gave Jade Eagles that extra leverage. So maybe something that we should also think about is when we play, in these matches, is really the timing of our bans, because that can make such an immense difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, we saw Hazard be banned out first map. We didn't see Hazard play the rest of the series at all. So at this point, I'm really starting to see that Hazard ban is kind of one where it's not necessarily needed that much anymore. But Thor, it was a great series. Just want to give a quick shout out to everyone behind the scenes. Unfeatured was our producer. We had Orange and Person as our as our observers here tonight. Thank you so much to them. But that will do it for us here at CGL as we wrap up week 3. Week 4 starts tomorrow with the introduction of perks, everyone. It's going to be a fun and crazy week ahead. You're not going to want to miss any of the action. But until then, we hope you have a great night and see you in our next stream.